start streaming. We are 25 KB, 2500 KBS. All indications, lights are green, and we're live. All right, welcome to Mutant Epoch. I'm gonna run the trailer for the opening, the intro. There we go.
Can I get that?
Yes.
Lovely. I want to post it somewhere.
Put it in the bubble chip.
I do have to learn how to switch the channel mute thing, because it's like we can hear everything when the intro is going, and I'm like, I don't care. We talked through one of them already, and I thought I thought it was good. I was listening to our own stuff. I'm like, that was a great commentary in the background. Thank you, Pat, for posting that over there, and I'll post it to Epoch and a couple other places. So, hi everybody. Your Mutant Epoch session number 18 for the High Desert. Previous session, we kind of like, let's recap. We basically, Connor's taken over as mayor. We are kind of, all the characters are processing after the battle. They're looking at all the members of High Rise and kind of catching your breath and seeing how things are playing out. We had a scene with Apocalypse and his characters with Cinder, and he kind of got a look in on how Whitehole has spread out its seekers across the High Desert. But it's really not being active. It's just being passively collecting information, intel. And they have kind of like a network of individuals who are plugged in different areas. And so now he has an in to that network. He can kind of like contact more people and build on that contact list.
Hey, Tim?
Yeah.
Quick insertion here. Nobody really knows about Whitehole.
No, nobody does. Yeah.
The Bermuda Triangle of the High Desert, but it's been implied by various game sessions that there is indeed a society inside of Whitehole, and that it has an active interest in the goings-on of the High Desert, and thus agents are out and about, and that Cinder secretly is one of those agents.
Yeah, and it's part of that mystery too, because even though okay, think about it this way: for people who are coming in, you're listening to it, and you're trying to make a mystery area. You do have to have like all the players in the know as you're creating the world, and they have to kind of like, you have to rely on them for their characters to not know, because it allows them to role play almost more believably and make appropriate actions about not knowing about something when they do know. And for us, for Whitehole, we have this kind of like, generally the environment is aware that something is there, but no one can prove it. And so when you have something you can't prove but you think is real, half the population will say it's not real, and the other half will say no, there's something out there. And then you get the whole like, well, no, the world is flat, fuck you, prove it. And that's kind of what Whitehole is right now. Nobody can prove it.
Yep.
Even people who are in the know, in quotations, like leaders of different factions, they don't even know. They're not sure. They've been in contact with maybe an agent, maybe a force. They still don't know what it is. And that's kind of like the role it's playing right now. And we'll kind of like explore that through its agents, this mystery shadow organization, and like how it is trying to survive in the world. And we're going to be pushing over towards the eastern side of the High Desert, which things go gonzo when we cross the Greywater Barrier. Faulty, what do we have with your characters? Because they were from here, and they're kind of separating themselves from people they've known their time. You'll go into Kit a bit.
Wait, I'm sorry?
Go into your character a bit. Like, what is she currently mentally going through? Because she's separating from one of her like longest time friends. We role played a bit of that, and how she's like going to be pushing into this adventure going east. It doesn't like, she's doing it like, what is her motivations right now going forward? Because there's a lot on her, that kind of like proverbially on her shoulders, that she has to consider. The health of the city, you know, her personal duty and responsibility to them, the possibility of death and dismemberment in the Underwarren, which is the possibility where you're going into. Hunting bunnies.
Hunting bunnies, yeah. Connor was like always with Kit most of the time, so she doesn't outwardly show it a lot, but she is pretty torn up about it. And, you know, Bruce is as well, but Kit right now, you know, it's more or less like the the motivation right now is to just do as Connor wants. And also, like, she's also torn up about the fact too that like her town that she grew up in was now like basically taken over from the inside out, and that's a lot to grapple with when you thought a lot of people were loyal to you and the people around you, and then all of a sudden they're siding with the enemy. So mostly on her agenda is to distance Unity as much as possible from High Rise, and most importantly too from Connor, because now that Connor is in charge, she feels like now he's going to have more of a target on his back, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point. And so what about Roos and his kind of, again, he's a telepath empath. He has these psychic powers, and you just saw a bunch of people with this kind of rare power. All these cultists seem to have access to it to some degree. He's dealing with a bunch of people who are mind blanks, and they're asking him to kind of be like looking into these minds, and he's dealing with, like, he just looked into the madness of Hashmal and kind of walked away from it like, this dude totally believed in his like agenda.
Oh yeah. And I think it would terrify Roos too, because it's like, what if I end up like that? Because he is a very capable telepath, but then it's like, okay, who's to say like that one day something stronger than Hashmal essentially hijacks my mind and makes me into one of those lobotomized cultists, and then I have no control over anything.
Yeah. That's got to be a bit of a terror. So is he gonna potentially seek out other stronger empaths to kind of like improve his defenses and make him like grow as a psychic, or is he gonna walk away from that path and try to like bottle it up a bit and make it so that it can't be accessed?
I would say that it would bother him enough to where it's like, okay, I need to figure out any like telekinetic walls that I can put up at least, so that even if I'm even if I'm hijacked, there's a way to like prevent being fully compromised. Yeah,
that's great. So we see that with Red Rum too. So we go shift over to Apocalypse now. With Red Rum's dealing with that as well. It's a very similar progression, but Red Rum's powers were nascent and they're awakening.
Yeah, Red Rum is strongly considering trying to create like a rough equivalent of a Jedi school. Tim and I have come up with a very simple system for expanding psychic powers rather than just being pure random like normal ranking up would result in. And so she's going to be continuing to do that. I think she's already got 2 ranks in that new special ability, and you can only put in 1 rank per rank up.
Yep.
And so she was very affected by this whole confrontation. But she's a mixture of fear and rage. How dare somebody do this to people? Because, she's a pretty sympathetic individual and doesn't like to see others suffer. And seeing what happened to the cultists and how the cultists tried to hurt High Rise has got her in a pretty big fury. So, she definitely wants to find, what is his name, Frank? The guy that did all the genetic alterations of Hashmal and Clark.
Yeah, you want Clark.
Whatever his name. So, she's very angry about, what he created and how it was used to manipulate people. But she too, like Roos, wants to also learn to defend herself from that in the future and to have options that are effective, because one of her most effective psychic powers was completely negated by whatever the big bad's name was again. I can't remember.
Oh, Foon. Yeah.
Yeah, that guy.
So
that was a humiliating, humbling experience.
So one of the things that Red Rum had developed, and she was aware of it from her time in the Crossroads, is that certain herbal remedies, certain drugs and concoctions can actually limit her empathic awareness, kind of fogs it up. And it's one of the things that it's a question now, if it fogs it, does it also protect me? And the initial inquiry is, yeah, it seems it does. You lose a little bit of spatial awareness, a tiny sacrifice of perception, but it makes your mind a hell of a lot harder to penetrate and break into. But it also makes it harder for you to use those abilities. So it's there's some work there to make it where you can still use your abilities and kind of have some of the defensive layering of this concoction.
Well, and Cinder had approached Argo about developing
a
mechanical, like, mental shield.
Yeah.
And Argo had said, I think I could do that. So,
yeah, I was going to segue now into Argo. So,
yeah,
for Argo,
timing.
We have a lot of biotech's been dumped on somebody who is a very intelligent character, but he's not a biotechnician.
For now.
Yeah, for now. Cyberization, electronics, warfare, mechanical stuff, robotics. That is Argo's field. But here is this bizarre technology that merges man and machine in not the cybernetic way, but down to a genetic, consciously aware, controllable way. And you're seeing, like, their failures are this creature Schwalthun. Like, that's a failure. What do their masterworks look like? Like, Hashmal is an iteration on an iteration on an iteration. It took 12 generations to get to. Like, what are they up to now? Hashmal was an adult, 30-something years old. Like, they have greater, newer, bigger things out there that you haven't seen yet. And then you have the whole mystery of what is a fogling? Now, you remember Gold Eater, right? Gold Eater was, again, a machine. Like, Argo knows that. But had biological components that allowed him to morph and change. He was insane, and he wasn't in control of them really liberally, but he still utilized them. And Argo retained a piece of Gold Eater, and I think it's still at Copper Dust, right? And I think Argo has some of that flow steel still.
We collected like all of it because I used like multiple batteries for that bullshit.
Oh yeah, and we know that you can shape it into pretty much anything you want, with a little bit of electrical charge, and you can mold and manipulate it.
Yeah, 100 kilograms of flow steel.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You've got this stuff, and you can do all sorts of weird shit with it. Now, you also have a weapon that you tasked 86 to develop. There was no return signal to know if you actually got in touch with them, and we'll get to Beans on this one, because Beans might be aware of it. But someone on the other side picked up the signal. So there's a possibility, and you have a variant of this weapon already that you can iterate, create, and tinker on that is fairly powerful, but not as reliable as it could be. And you know that
something Argo wants to fix.
Exactly. And Argo's been able to punch through like swaths of people in a single column line. Like, what else can this thing do? I want to bore through creatures. And your task is to kill a Shrike Queen, a monstrosity of a creature. You got to bore through its outer armor shell, any kind of shielding it has, get down to its core, and just blast it out of the sky. You need a dragon killer. So what is Argo's thought process right now? Where is he thinking he wants to step into next with his creation process and his upgrades and his what he wants to do?
It's two things currently. It's A, he wants to work on his gun, and he wants to work on himself, actually. He wants to start getting into cyberware.
We just got a ping. Argo already has Biotech 1, so he is aware of this stuff. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
All right, then.
So I guess I can...
Lawyer strikes again. Ha-ha.
Well, good for you. That means I can officially start actually putting points into it and say, well, guess what, Tim? I technically had a point in it. I'm just going to give myself an official point of 3.
Yeah, I mean, you have the XP, and we were looking for what to spend on skill points for you, too.
I think maybe?
We hadn't spent them all.
We hadn't? I thought I did.
You may have. I just remember the last time we were
did.
still looking for it. All right. Well, again, levels are going to come fast and hard, so.
Yeah.
Because now we're gonna also apply skill-based experience so that we have that more often and actually have some skill encounters coming up for this next session. So what about Whiskey Tango? I know he's kind of like the silent protagonist a lot of times, and he just kind of sits there and does his deal, does his thing, but he also beats the piss out of stuff.
Yes, Whiskey. I've been meaning to get him upgrades because I love him to bits, but it's kind of hard to just give him a personality with he can't even talk. I mean, he's more than happy to listen, but he currently has no communication module. Or at least a working one.
Yeah, you can only communicate in like beeps and clicks in binary.
Yep.
So there's a couple characters here that understand him, and also players when they start typing things in binary. Okay, yeah, it's happening. Yeah, there it is.
It happened 8 minutes ago.
Okay, I just saw it now.
It's okay, Tim. It's only going to get worse. Soon, hell, we can even teach Ronan how to speak binary.
Very amusing. All right, moving on. We're going to go over to Beans. Beans, you've got bunny issues.
Do I? What happened to the bunnies?
You first off are looking at possibly going into the underworld. And so you're going to have to, but you're going west, and going west is dangerous. And the safest route is also horribly unsafe. The Underwards isn't safe. It's a hellhole. What's your choice? Going across the feeding grounds? Nobody survives that trek.
Yeah,
That's true.
And so you've got to maybe reach out and find some people by Rabbit Hole, which is a raider position. You've got some settlements under there that belong to people in the Underwards. It is a rabbit stronghold.
That's going to be fun. That's enemy territory.
Yeah. Gotta come up with some way.
I think the plan was to go up to Greywater, try and find some contacts there, and make our way south down a Rabbit Hole, and then across the feeding grounds to somewhere pop up around 86, I think it was.
Yeah. Which would probably put you out by Snaggletooth.
Yeah. Also enemy territory.
Yeah, not great.
I think we also had to make a quick stop at the ruins of Bittertoe as well.
Yep. There's the ruins of Bittertoe to take a look at. And then there might be another access point going the actual caravan road and popping south across to 86, the kind of the easier way, and using Colossus as a stopover.
But then we might run into the beetles. No one wants to deal with the beetles anymore.
Everybody loves the beetles. They have the best weaponry.
the beetles will be awesome.
I mean, you turn their legs into some good barbecue, I guess, but
I've had scorpion. It's delicious.
is it?
It is really good.
Shit, don't tell me that.
Yeah,
Delicious. So many of life's problems involve just
eating bugs. All right. And so what about our robot companion here? Like, what does she got to do next? She wants upgrades? She wants to get out of that small chassis? You know, she's been crab mirror for a while.
That's true. But then I saw a really cool picture of a crab back, and I was like, oh, what about upgrades?
Crab grades.
Crab grades, yeah. Side grades, if you will.
Everything turns to crabs.
Yeah. Kind of basically, just looking for more robotic upgrades, maybe trying to explore a little bit more of the digital network going across the high desert, maybe even beyond.
Because you've already seen that you do have access to satellite feeds that pass over, so you can hit uplinks, and then you saw nodes. They seem to be environmental nodes from an old weather relay satellite, but they're there and they're talking.
Mm-hmm. There was also the AI core that we left back in Copper Dust. Getting that hooked up to the satellite relay might be a good idea, or a terribly bad one, but
yeah, who knows? It might just like, oh, now I'm in a satellite. All right, well, let's begin my plan for world domination.
Well, there's going to be some guardrails involved. It's a construction AI, so what could possibly go wrong?
Starts building stuff autonomously. Who knows?
Oh man, can we have an orbital construction yard?
It fixes something. Like, oh, don't do that. So you got anything else like on the top of your mind with these two characters, with their development and what they're gonna pursue?
Well, there was that little bit about High Rise with the Beastmen kind of up in their voice a bit.
Yeah, and then they
I was
are.
thinking that maybe Rhea could probably put in a what do you call it? A puppet leader to kind of maybe get some more support for Newholm.
Definitely
ways of,
establish,
yeah.
establish
Yeah.
a line of communication.
Yeah, prop up. The idea was to prop up April as kind of like one of the heads of the leaders of the new Beast movement there going on.
So you're going to want to establish a wireless communication system between high rise that, you know, anything that you do isn't going to be fully secure, but only thing that really is message by hand in your own head so that somebody can't hopefully torture it out of you. But yeah, I can see you making contact with the old home.
Oh, well, I wasn't thinking about like wireless. I was just thinking about like, kind of like just for now, just trying to set up like oh jeez, what was the word? But make kind of like a cell
Yeah.
for there, so that when eventually they make their way back over into that area, it can be like, oh, by the way, we have a bit of a organization going on over here in this place.
So in the
That
time
is-
that Rhea's had, do we want to say that she's kind of established a nascent cell?
Yeah,
Okay. So she's
that
got
was the side thing, but I never expanded on that.
yeah.
Past my
So
post there.
so because you had that older rabbit who was a part of the wars, and she lived in the underworld. She came up above, so she's probably a good point of contact to kind of carry on certain traditions. I mean, she's an old warrior, but she knows the codes, she knows the way, she understands it. And her daughter seems to be in a good position to like become a potential like leader.
Yeah, April's the strong one, a strong warrior. People need a strong voice, to help lead them. And then her daughter can be like the soft touch, the face of the thing, right?
Yeah, soft power.
Exactly.
Okay.
People skills are important, as I've been told.
As I have been told, as we do a live stream TTRPG game. Okay, so we're gonna move over to pumpkins. What's going on in Plant World, in Pumpkin Land?
Head mostly empty.
It's filled with goo.
Yep. Ronan barely ever has a thought in his head.
Just
Something
going
that's
out his
for me.
day. Yeah. Just rolling on out and doing his thing.
Yep.
All right, so this is,
Ronan is offering whatever aid that he can to people.
he's just a nice guy.
Mhm.
Trying, like, yeah, the world sucks. I'm just trying to make everybody a little bit of a brighter place.
Also trying to improve human-plantoid relations.
Which he really is, because not a single person that Ronan has interacted with could probably say a negative thing. Weird things, but not negative. They'd be like, and also very memorable. They're like, yeah, he kept trying to feed us from his face. Is that normal? And the other plant, like a tree plantoid that has fruit. I'm like, you could eat one of my apples, but they technically are my children, but they're not going to grow into anything alive. But here.
The apple plants or tree stares at you as you eat it
Yeah.
in front of them.
You like that?
Yeah.
Do you like how I taste? Yeah. Like, you made it weird.
Throws it away.
Just
Yeah.
slowly opens mouth, lets it fall out. Ugh.
Like, you should have seen the plant that fertilized me. She was a sweet, crisp apple. Like, yeah, man, it's got weirder.
Yeah, the mood's gone.
Yeah, like, not hungry anymore. Matter of fact, gotta go to the bathroom. And then what about Duke? Now, this is gonna kind of tie in with Iliad.
Aside from rendering aid when he can, Duke is merely following his Lord Commander and trying to get caught abreast of events that occurred when he was gone.
Okay. So Beans want to know if insects are a part of the relationship of cross-pollinating plantoids, and I said yes.
Yeah, Drax.
Hey, why wouldn't they be? All pollinating methods are standard.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, we just use whatever courier we can, Long distance relationships can still bear fruit as it.
Nice. All about that free love.
That was good. that one worked for me. So Duke is trying to basically still collect himself in this new world.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
And knowing that they're still lacking information regarding his lord
yeah.
does vex him slightly.
You've gone from an apocalypse to a somehow worse apocalypse. It's like, huh.
Mhm.
All right, now we end with Iliad.
Hello.
Iliad's got a lot going on.
The hell do you want?
The hell does who want? Iliad. What is Iliad going? What's on his mind?
Iliad's processor is currently dwelling much on his past. Feels a little weird that it seems Duke does not know much of him, but then again, he doesn't know much of Duke either. But it's mostly dwelling on the Bitter Toe lights, and he wants to figure out what's going on there.
Yeah, why is there lights at Bitter Toe? Who's living up there? It's a graveyard. Shouldn't be anything there.
Yeah, he's of that one-track mind. It's not an obsession yet, but it's started to kind of weigh in on him.
Yeah, something's happening. So I think I covered pretty much every character. Did I miss anybody? Did I miss anything?
Technically, no.
Technically, no. The best kind of right. All right, so we're going to step in. We had agreed that their party was going to rest for an evening before stepping off the next day into the high desert. So any transition across the high desert requires preparation with water, food, and a concept of where you're going to rest. Now, getting through the Silt Sea and then getting to the edges of the Great Ruins, where they're on the edges of the Silt Sea, all those old burned out buildings, is probably your best bet to stop at. As navigating the Silt Sea, even though it's a small distance, requires expertise that only Kit has.
And Roos.
Oh yeah, and Roos. So Kit and Roos, you guys are the ones who are leading the party out into the Silt Sea so they can get to the edges of it.
Yeah.
So what kind of disposition as a group? You know what? Actually, wrong question. Let's assume that you're heading into unknown danger. Because you have enemies that you do not know their location and you do not know what their disposition is. If they're actively going to attack, if they're sitting and waiting, if they're viewing. So as experienced hunters and soldiers, you're all going to be on alert. And so it allows you an ability to respond actively to threats as they occur. So I'm not going to be like, if there's like a chance of a surprise attack, we're going to use perception for everyone here to get a chance to like counteract the surprise, surround the ambushers. I'm going to do a couple random rolls and see what kind of conflicts we might potentially have. Right. So going across the Sand Sea, or the Silt Sea, we don't have any contact. It was a peaceful transition. You do come across a large mound that has been shifted in the silt. It looks to be a caravan tipped and was abandoned in the silt and hasn't fully submerged yet. Does anybody want to attempt to recover anything from it? This is a dangerous operation. It requires a little bit of logistics support and tools and like teamwork to be able to lift this cart and get it into a position to investigate it.
I mean, it does sound very tempting.
Yeah. The hazard here is essentially getting silt into your lungs, because you'll be able to stand back up. You have the sand striders, so it's not death if you fall down. It's just very inconvenient, kind of sucks, and you get moon dust in everything.
Ronan waddles over because dust doesn't matter.
Yeah, he's walking through it for the most part.
Whiskey also does not care.
Yeah, he's all sealed up. It is a hazard to non-biologicals because of any rents in your armor or your chassis. This static can get into your systems and cause shortages. It also eat through wires, casings, and really cause a mess of processors and servos and gears, especially anything that's very vulnerable to like articulated motion, so ball joints.
Fun.
Yeah,
Thankfully, Whiskey is water type.
Yeah, so Whiskey don't give a fuck. He's in great shape.
Yeah, he can kind of float and is also watertight. So
Yeah, this is his natural environment then, really.
oh, except it's the opposite. Instead of
Yeah.
water, it's sand.
You might as well
Just-
treat it like water, though. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not
Dry
bad.
water.
Yeah, dry water.
yeah, dry water.
Yeah, why not? This is dirt water. So yeah, we got 2 individuals who are unimpacted by this that could support. Any other characters want to attempt?
Yeah, Ray will lend a hand.
Yep, we have another one who's
You do.
unimpacted. Who's gonna help?
Iliad will keep watch.
Elliot. Yep.
Argo
Exactly.
will also keep watch with
Argo?
his many rifles.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I forgot to ask you something before we left. Fuck.
Oh.
I was gonna ask for more. See if I can try to find some more ammunition for the Gauss rifle.
It doesn't have ammo.
Doesn't?
It has battery packs.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
I need a new battery pack then, because I have 1 shot left.
You have people here who can
Okay.
recharge. Yeah.
Oh shit! Yeah, I might need someone to recharge my shit for a little bit then.
Let's look into the cow.
That's right. You have the damn cow.
It's always there in the background.
I will
Just watch
just plug it into the cow then, and I just realized I should have bought some extra stuff because I don't know when we're going back, and I have like
You can say you bought it. You had a day to process and
because
buy
I had
things.
like $700 in local currency that I should have probably used.
It's still useful in Greywater.
Okay.
There's a currency exchange between the 2 settlements.
Okay, because I'm just like, I wanted to buy some shit before we left, but we just left and I was busy, so fuck.
No, that's fine. Yeah, you can do that. There is no reason why you can't just kind of look at the inventory lists and purchase a couple items here and there, and you don't need my permission to do any of that. Anybody can do that anytime, because I don't want to have a unless we have some narratively important reason to do a shopping episode, then we'll get into that.
I mean, the main thing was
Each
basically
episode, yay.
Argo is literally trying to get his cyber eye in his head because
Well, you know the vendor
it's
for it.
currently, well, yeah, shit, because it's on its like last days of in its cold box.
Yeah, you knew a vendor that had a bunch of those eyes, and so you're looking at a combat one.
I actually bought one.
Oh yeah, so you just haven't installed them.
I just haven't installed it because I haven't had the time.
Yeah, and Argo would be the one installing it. You don't need anybody.
Yeah. Because he was installing it on himself, though. That's the thing.
I don't want to derail too much, but yeah, the party did get that advance pay from Connor and
Yep.
company, right? Yeah.
Oh,
was
yeah,
it
you got
1,000
the money.
silver?
Yeah, you got 1,000 silver.
Yeah, just wanted to codify it so everyone knows we can do this.
Oh,
I got
perfect.
1,000 extra silver.
Yeah, so definitely fill out any things that you wanted to equip yourselves with that are within that pay scale range, and use the trade goods table for. Don't worry about availability because High Rise has good trade, so they're gonna have all the things you need. Because a lot of that, when it comes down to the Crossroads region, is about scarcity of ammunition and just general scarcity of like any kind of tech support items, and the high desert area is not as much of a concern. But it's just cost. Things still cost a lot.
Oh yeah.
So with the few characters that are out here lifting this stuff, I want you all to take a strength check as you're trying to tilt this thing back into position.
Whoa.
Ooh. Rhea, very, very good. 82. Knock it out of the park. Argo,
Sinking
good.
into the sand, pushing on this thing.
Faulty, yeah, we got a 36. Ronan, 63. We're doing great here.
Damn, Ronan just.
I mean, considering Ronan is under that.
Yeah. So for a type E,
Type G, baby.
I did not know the plant had almost 100 strength. Oh god.
yeah, I know, right? You can rip
Vast.
bolts out.
Scary ass pumpkin. It's no longer like a little feeble pumpkin. No, it's just a jacked pumpkin.
Yeah.
He ate a small piece of coal in memory.
Faulty, which character was the one that supported? Was it Roos or Kit?
That's Kit.
It was Kit. She got it. It was
Okay.
60 out of, yeah.
Cool. All right, so we have the majority of players have actually passed the check, so Rhea's failure doesn't really come into play. It's like everyone else. It's Rhea's over there, like I'm helping. It's like you're 2 feet tall. Like, you sure are, buddy.
Take a channel, make it easier to tip over.
So you get this thing righted, and you immediately come to find it's made of some kind of like metal skin. Fairly light. It has it's just an oddity to its shape. There seems to be some kind of exhaust panel on the back. There's some kind of devices on the bottom side of it that they're circular, they're gray, they've been polished, like any kind of like markings or symbols just from the silt constantly going against it. There's a lot of silt inside of it. So instead of something being recently tipped over, it looks like something that the silt sea just like belched back up. Got no more paint. That's all been stripped off. So you have this kind of like nice, shiny, polished, composite material. There is a panel board on the inside of a cockpit. It seems to be about, well, the seats themselves are worn completely away, but you could get about 7 or 8 people in there kind of comfortably. It has a flatbed on the back side of it that is, attached to a chassis, and it's all self-supported. So with Argo, you have mechanic and robotic, right?
Yes.
So you would know what this is. This is a repulsor lift transport.
Uh-oh.
This is essentially something that is, it's not zero G. It does use an energy source in order to create a field that allows it to push off the ground and, maintain travel. It doesn't work in areas like the Silt Sea because there's just not enough solid matter beneath it. It would essentially get into the Silt Sea and just, it's like, there's just not enough like hard matter there to keep it up. And it's not working. You'd have to drag it through here. It's aerodynamic and not heavy. You've got the strength here to do it. You just got to attach some ties to it and drag it out of the Silt Sea. Maybe you can get it working again. But in this, in this area right now, there's just too much wind. There's too much sand. You just can't really see any of the readouts or dials to see like what works and what doesn't work. It's going to take the day, though. Think it's worth the risk trying to pull it out?
I mean, I'm more curious what's in it. If it was like having anything like carried inside.
A cursory look, you do have some like chambers that are locked up. Take a little bit of time to like pry those open. There seems to be like some kind of cubby hole on the bottom side. Maybe it's like where they kept the instructions, or it's a glove box. Kind of looks like.
Okay.
You recognize it. I mean, that's also the pilot's seat. You can see right there, which has been, again, the silt has just eaten it away. It's just a metal frame now, along with like a steering apparatus.
Renan's going to tie off some of the human rope to the cockpit and then tie it to the back end of the solar cow so that it can aid pulling it out.
Okay. You don't want to do, so basically Ronan's going to be a mule here because he's got the strength for it.
But Mirror's crab chassis be Silt Sea resistant?
For chassis?
Yeah, like they're all.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay.
The crab one?
She can mule too, yeah.
Yeah, the crab one is very much.
So.
They burrow.
I suppose, yeah.
Their natural state is underground.
We've got robots. What are they used for?
Right?
Hard manual labor. Yeah.
Yeah, we may not be able to do any maintenance to it now, but it can still act as a sled.
Now, because of its aerodynamic shape, it actually does kind of lift a bit, and the Silt Sea supports it minimally. So it does make it kind of easy to drag across the seas like it was in snow. And it's you have a headwind, so it's, not bad. It's kind of an easy pull. But the sun is dipping down behind the horizon line, and a lot of you guys are going to have to drink through your masks today. Thankfully, when you're in the Silt Sea, you don't have to worry about high noon because it's always covered. You're in permanent shade.
Nice.
So that is like one of the benefits of being out here. It's actually one of the reasons people use this as ambush sites, because you can hide out in the noon if you can, have a shelter that can survive the erosion.
Could anyone pick up one of those sand barrier things?
The pulsar ones.
Yeah.
Yep. they would work here. They'd be able to keep all the silt out, and so you can kind of walk forward without it interrupting you. The problem is just depth, because like how deep does this go? Because you'd be pushing all of that silt out of your way. So you hit terra firma.
How much does one of those cost?
They're fairly inexpensive. They're just Copper Dust has some of them for their electronic systems they were using for their windmills, and I think Greywater is going to have a bunch of them just for areas and have like housing areas. They're going to have them just to keep fucking sand out of their doors.
I think you remember you said you could like make like a temporary shelter.
Yeah, in order to like get under the sand.
Sand igloo thing, yeah.
Yeah. I think
blue.
However much one of those costs, I think Ray would have picked one up because we forgot to grab one on our way up to high rise the last time. So
yeah, because they were on offer of the bugs had them. Let me go check my lists. So we're looking at 240 silver for one of those, plus or minus 2d20. Well, plus in this case. So 240 plus 2d20, and that's its base price.
What
65.
are you buying there, Rhea?
Buy one of those sand repellers.
Oh,
So it creates a slight magnetic field that compresses matter around it and forces sand away and keeps it stabilized.
okay.
It was used so that you can dig shelter under the dunes when it's high noon, in the 3 hours when everything just roasts out here. You get yourself a couple inches of like barrier between sun and skin,
Oh, I hear you.
which is all you really need. You don't need much insulation, you just need it. So you come to the edges of the Silt Sea without any further incident. You have the buildings. Do you want to populate the building that you guys did before that you hung up the antlion from? All that meat, by the way, is gone. They
Yeah,
have
makes
come out and
sense.
collected it. Or do you want to try a new location?
Well, let's say our guides.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, the meat is gone, so something could still be hanging around there, or
So Kit, you would have known, same with Bruce, that they definitely collected it already. You guys had posted a notice. They would have come out within 20.
We would obviously have to find different shelter, though, is the thing. And I would rather not have it where it leads a trail to us.
Okay. Nighttime is approaching rapidly, and so anyone who's going to be able to see you or see your trail is going to have NVGs or heat vision.
Okay.
Or
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
they're
Okay.
totally fine with staying in the same spot. It's just as long as nothing sneaks
It's
up on
secure.
them again.
Yeah, it's a secure location. Okay, so that's Bruce's or Kit's suggestion.
That'll be Kit's suggestion.
Okay.
Despite the antlion terror.
I mean, yeah. So I'd imagine, in Bruce's or Kit's opinion, since the antlion's dead, maybe the flora and fauna in the area haven't figured that out yet. It might be the safest location.
Yeah.
It's like it still has a territory. It takes a while for other things to come and step into a apex predator's territory. They're like, no, that's death in that direction. Okay, so you set up camp. You have your. Remember the last time you guys like focused on the interior of the building so that any kind of thermal vision could spot you out?
yes.
Yeah.
All right. So you're kind of keeping to that again. Now you guys have gained a couple like spying devices, looking devices in when you were in high rise. Are you setting any of those things up? Are you putting them on the outside perimeter so that you can kind of monitor anybody who's back and forth through this area? Because there are populations of people who like abandoned buildings. They're not members of high rise. They're vagrants. They're denizens of the high desert. They're travelers. They're desert or what do you call them? Desert sages, things like that.
I mean, Rhea will fly her fancy new high-rise drone around
Oh,
that she totally didn't steal.
nope, didn't at all. Someone's inventory manifest list just came up short. They're like, Wind must have taken it. Kind of light. Happens every now and then. So you pop the drone, you're going to take a look around you. Now, instantly your drone notices that you are not alone. There are a couple other buildings nearby that have occupants, and you can see them they're using small fires, chemical fires, in order to just kind of heat their space because of the dreaded drop in temperature that comes with the dropping of the sun. Because there's nothing here that holds on to the heat. And so you can see them by their thermal residue. So you got a couple pockets of those. Now, one of these groups seems a bit large, probably numbering around a company-sized element. So we're talking about 30 individuals. You can't really make out one person from another because it's just kind of a blob of heat. And they have a few uncovered like heat sources that they're not really doing anything to mask. There's a couple individuals that you see by windows. So ostensibly these are guards. And they stand at about 1.5 meters tall to almost some of them 2 meters. So mannish height, mannish profile and build. They are carrying cold implements, so weapons, guns, things that have that kind of profile and image. And they are doing, pretty standard patrol pattern. Each person that's on guard duty has line of sight to another guard. They have like effective overlapping fields of fire. So you're looking at people who are soldiers. Or at the very least experienced, warmongers. Raiders.
We have neighbors.
They stand, let's say a little less than 1 kilometer away from you. So you do got line of sight on them, but your guys are a lot more disciplined with your heat, so they wouldn't see you.
Well, first things first, she's going to share that with the rest of the group and kind of point out the other locations where there are other fire sources. And, well, it's up to the group on what we want to do here. We can stay here, we can move out, we can go say hello.
Kit does have Connor's binoculars, so she would probably ask where these groups were spotted at and get a better look at them.
Yeah, get a line of sight on them.
Just over there on the east side. I think actually we have a thermal scope, 1 or 2 of those.
You do.
Yeah, you could use one of those to peek at them too.
Oh, neat. Yeah, she'll do that, definitely.
So, Kit, you have grown up here. You seen just about every kind of danger the high desert could throw at high rise. What you're seeing, your suspicion is that these are probably slavers. Now, slavers know not to operate in high rise. They don't dare. They will get wiped out. But they do use this area to set up camp. So probably a caravan going from wherever they picked up these 4 unfortunates, either heading southwest down into the Shattered region, or they're heading east into Greywater with, a bounty of slaves. Typically, slavers aren't going to antagonize groups that are armed. There's no money in that.
Right. Yeah, Kit will go back and she'll relay, her secondary information to the group. I mean, we're pretty well armed. Would you say that, like, if we kind of kept to ourselves, they wouldn't really do anything? Or do you think that, like...
Kit knows they wouldn't. They wouldn't dare. If they would scout you out, see that you guys are armed, have a guard up. I think they'd be like, yeah, not worth it.
Okay.
Cinder will say, but we shouldn't let slavers live. Kill them at Copper Dust. Why wouldn't we kill them here?
How many campfires do they have?
You're a wild law, man. But he does bring up a good point. They are dastardly bastards over there. And also, they might have picked up certain individuals we're looking for.
I was going to ask any indication that they have property or that they have cargo.
You don't know because they were masked. The heat signals had them masked to group together. Couldn't make out individuals. And again,
we do have the former mayor with us, right?
Yep.
Oh, fuck, we left him in high rise.
Yeah, we have Ernesto here, so we do something like a non-combative.
He's gurgling in a hole right now. Whoops. Oh, that dude dead.
He was up my nose the whole time. Iliad pulls him out.
You have a nose?
What?
Iliad sniffs.
It's the rat. The rat is his nose.
That's right, yeah. I also have my
Tangled
pet
weave
rat
of-
here.
What tangled weave of hell do we have seen? Yeah. So you said they were separated, right? They're not like all together in one big camp.
They are together in one big camp in the building with a lot of heat signatures there, but they have a guard that is like a ring around it in the building at windows that they can see. They have line of sight on one another, so it would be very difficult to like ambush them. But again, you don't know a lot. Your information is just a group exists. It's likely because of its size and disposition, slavers. You need to collect more information. Now, there are ways you can do this. You could do this wirelessly. If they have tech that they're communicating with, you can patch into that. You can send a scout. You do have some of you are quite stealthy and can get kind of close. Argo has some tech on him that might be able to hack into something or like read an uplink, see if they're actually using wireless communication signals with one another.
I was wondering if maybe Roos could.
Yeah, Red and Roos could possibly
Snoop.
use telepathy. Snoop in, get close enough.
How large is the building they're occupying, and does it have a roof over top of where their guards are posted?
It has several floors. It does have a roof in the section that they have taken. They're about the 5th floor up, so you're assuming there's some kind of like access way. It's got to be a stairwell that's still intact or something that they've like rigged up like a ladder.
Be making a silhouette from our location if we were to go airborne.
The building, or you guys?
I mean,
you
if
make
one
a
of us
silhouette.
were to go airborne.
I know the
Where's
moon
the
is
moon's position?
the moon's low in the horizon, so you'd be able to get through with only a star shadow, and no one's gonna notice that unless they have unless they got heat vision. And not many people have access to that tech, but it is something you find in the high desert. It'll be in the hands of like their gunners, a sniper specifically.
It would seem we have many options.
And there's also ways for you to get around that. For instance, the robots properly shielded, covered up, like Whiskey Tango. He's watertight. You don't have a heat signature. He's as cold as the ambient temperature around him.
Let's say if the mayhaps psychic probing be our smartest approach.
I could try.
Where's where they're at?
Yeah, I think we'll try to psychically tap in, see what they're thinking about, see if because we could try to sneak in and risk getting discovered, and then we have more cargo, or they have more cargo that they could take, or we could just pry.
Okay, so which one is it going to be? Red Rum or is it going to be Roos going to get close, or both?
I don't see why not both.
Apocalypse, you with us right now? You might have had
I
to
don't
step
think-
away.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe Ray will go with you just for backup if you got to get close.
Yeah, Ray is again a night fighter, knows that kind of knows how to do that.
Iliad
You
should
will
not
see about
go. He
getting,
burns like a sun in thermals.
Yeah. Whiskey Tango, do you want to go
We'll
with
see about flying up and getting into one of the open pathways above them.
Duke can fly?
He's a duck.
I know, but not all ducks can, fly all the time. Not all mutant ducks can either.
Yeah, the ducks. I get a bonus for flying in terms of DV value.
All right.
For Duke specifically, I did have it that he doesn't fly well.
Okay. You can
The reason
glide.
for that is because he has a freaking gun strapped to one arm, bolted into it.
He can glide. You got plenty of buildings to glide hop from.
Good luck, Squire.
Whiskey Tango, did you want to go out and provide
But I
oversight
don't
because of
necessarily-
because of how cold your body presents?
Sure.
You got some gun coverage for Bruce. You've got Duke in the sky. What kind of communications are you gonna use to be able to communicate with one? How are you gonna talk?
I have built-in communicator in my helmet.
Okay.
Yeah, we all
Yeah.
have communicators now.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, we do,
I was just
yeah.
asking how you're going to do it. Okay.
Yeah.
Whiskey Tango, Argo, do you want to code lock that so that nobody can hack it?
Sure. How do I do it?
So we're gonna do a check based off of your intelligence, but since you have computer tech, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is not a difficult task for you to. But there is a chance that the code isn't strong and that it fails. So we're gonna go into.
Yeah, I have 3 computers.
Yeah. Okay. So he's got great skill. So we're gonna open up the hub rules and we're gonna go over to it, and there's gonna be a thing here for programming. And we're assuming you're not doing this now. This is something you've already done. We're just determining whether or not. Computer
See if it was bad or not.
So for see here, got to be a type B. Oh, so you have a 3 type A hazard check
Yes.
for you.
Okay.
And it's intelligence based.
I think I succeeded.
Yeah, I think you fucking nailed it with a 5 over 68. So yeah, that thing is nobody's getting into that communication. Like Unity is sweating because there's a code out there they can't break.
Get the private key, right?
Yes, I made it.
Don't lose it.
It's hard to not. I already memorized it.
So with that, you have closed access communication. You're able to communicate and talk. Bruce, give me a stealth check.
Oh God.
Yep.
Wait, hang on.
Yep. So that's gonna be the hub rules for anyone who's listening for the first time or coming to the Mutant Epoch. All of the dice challenges for the player side are actually in their control. So as a GM, I don't have to sit there and control like, oh, your dice challenges, an 18 or 25. They have control over that. It's in the book. It's part of their skills. So when I say give me a stealth check, literally it's based off of their rank in stealth, and they either pass or they fail. And it's a pretty simple. Wow, 86 against the 86 for Rhea.
That's impressive.
What's
Hold on, I'm taking a look. It's a concealed movement, right?
Yeah, concealed movement.
Pretty sure you back 1.
yeah.
So that will
I'm
be.
pretty sure you probably still made it.
So
Yeah, she's
the,
still.
He's moderate agility.
yeah, the advantage in that kind of system for players
Okay.
is that they have an idea of how
your
difficult a
agility.
task is going to be when they set out to do it.
Hang on.
And so as a game master, when you have a monster and you're trying to have a monster interact with the players as stealthy, you actually, again, you give the players the perception check and you determine the difficulty of that perception based off of how stealthy you want that monster to be. You don't give the adversary stealth.
Bruce missed it.
Okay, Bruce missed it.
He too bubbly.
So, and what did Rhea? How was Rhea's score? Got it?
Oh yeah, Ray.
With gusto.
Yeah.
I just looked at like what you would get for that because you got 2 in stealth, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
there's like
not bad.
basically borderline no way that you could have effed it up.
I mean, if you look at the score and then compare it to Roos's, it's like, yeah, he kind of did follow what she said.
It's like, nope.
He's a big ass human. And
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's true.
So-
Like Roos is trying rabbit stealth techniques, thinking that he can hide behind something much smaller than him currently.
No, it's hop, hop, step.
No, God.
You're trying to hide from sandworms? It's a ruckus.
Yeah.
Annoyed rabbit noises.
she starts thumping her foot on the ground.
What ends up happening is that there is a you're not discovered, but there is a noise or a sight or something triggers a reaction from the individuals in the building. And so you're no longer getting a clear idea of what their minds are thinking because it's not idle thoughts. It's now like something's out there, be on guard, watch. And so all of their minds are focused on that. And you've got a kind of like a
fauna
wall.
exists in the high desert?
Sand.
Yeah, sand and more sand.
Yes,
fa-
bugs.
bugs for the most part, burrowing beetles, but a lot of it's also foglings, things that have combined in some way. There are weird animals, just not a lot.
There's a few other things around here. Duke will take the time to press his throat and to try to hide the fact that it's anything out of the ordinary. He'll make the sound of a wounded rabbit.
The screeching noise they make.
Just a small screeching noise to indicate that it was probably just one of the rabbits that got killed.
I mean, that happens often enough. So there is an alertness again to this interaction. It's throwing the trail, so they're not focused on like your direction. They're not like looking at you. They got this other noise up in the sky that's confusing them for location. And but now they're like in a hostile disposition. Like obviously there's something moving around us. Something was wounded. I saw movement. You know, there must be something in the dark that's causing destruction. It's killing things. So we need to be on high alert for that thing.
No, that went bad.
And so you have fear now mixed in with like attention and waiting and anticipation. So again, a jumble of emotions that are very hard to penetrate into specific thoughts. You can try to do the link, and this is the chance for failure for, you know, trying to link into someone's mind that you don't know.
Yeah, he'll try. He'll still have to dig, but he will try.
So you're gonna move past the guards to somebody in the interior because there's a lot of bodies in there.
The call seemed like a good idea on paper.
Well, it pulled the line of sight off of Roos.
Not the way I wanted it.
Should have went for a duck call instead.
I do have that. Both mine and an artificial duck call.
Oh, God. All right, so
Maybe I should have confused them with a bull moose.
we're going to treat this as an enemy because of their current hostile interaction, so it's your willpower? What is Roos's willpower? Is it 30?
It is
10? Yeah.
a 25.
25. Okay. You got a 16% chance to get inside this person's head. Give me that D100.
Holy shit.
At the very least, they don't know.
Don't believe in you, believe in me who believes in... Oh, okay.
What the fuck is with the 80s? This is pissing me off.
Yeah, 84.
The 80s were a fantastic decade.
Ray-Bans. Oh, God. So, yeah, it didn't go well, and you weren't able to get into anyone's minds. This fear has spread to the entire group, and it's kind of dominating the surface level thoughts. So you can pull back at this time, or you could try to get a visual. A visual is going to be more dangerous because you obviously, if you can see them, they can see you to a point. And since they're also on high alert, I'm going to increase the stealth difficulty.
Oh, boy.
I think we should pull back.
Now, Rhea is probably the only one who could get close.
Oh, it's time to play the hero. You roll back, you be distraction. I'm
I'm still
scale
going
the
into
wall.
one of those upper windows.
All right. So, Rhea, I want you to make the difficulty of your movement 2 steps more difficult. For anyone listening, if he's
Type
an
C.
A, that would be a type C. Goes up 2 letter category.
Let's go.
Oh, that's still it. That's still
Smoked it, yeah. You chose scaling?
Yeah, scale the wall a bit.
Scale the wall. All right, so you're scaling the wall, you're avoiding that outside area. You get to a point where you can actually like get real eye line of sight on some guys moving around. When you see them in there, they're desert travelers. They're wearing survival suits. They're carrying zap guns. They've got goggles on. And they're moving with a light behind them. They're also all kind of short. Like, they're disciplined. They're moving around in good formation. They're human-ish. Like, you can see mostly... You see an occasional horn sticking out of, like, a wrapped-up, like, burqa. But...
They're gnomes. Get them.
Yeah. Collect them. Get
Disgusting.
them all.
The hydraulic knight's sworn enemy.
My
But yeah,
regrets,
they're,
I didn't bring more ammo.
They're all kind of young, it seems.
Their skin, huh? Or are they all too wrapped up to tell?
They're not robots. I mean, some of them are. You can see like a bit of like a hand. You'll see like a bit around the visor, like underneath, just by the forehead or something like that. Somebody pulls it back to wipe out something.
Also, Ruse could feel surface thoughts, so not machine that way.
Yeah. So these are people.
They're not beast folk, eh?
No, they're humanoid. No bunnies here.
Specifying that humanoid.
Yeah, humanoid. Yeah, I'm using that term. Again, it's Mutant Epoch.
Okay. This is ground floor?
No, you're up on the 5th floor. You scaled up a bit.
I was going to go maybe the 2nd or 3rd floor, but...
You're not in danger. There's plenty of handholds and footholds to scale this. Got popcorn.
Just looking for maybe a spot where she can slip in where there is no guards.
Yeah, so you got to go floor up and get into an area. You got no guards up here. It's nice and dark. No one's populated it. Now, Rhea, you've been fighting in the underworlds for a long time. You are accustomed to traps, and so I'm not going to have you make a check against this. You see it right across the window the moment you come up to it. It is a string with bits of metal tied around it that would make a little clinging noises if you were to trip over it, disturb it. It would sound like wind chimes. It's primitive, but it works.
Just step around that?
Oh yeah, step right over it.
All right. So on the inside of the building.
Yeah, but it means they trapped the floor above them.
I might want to radio into the duct, be like, keep your eye out for traps. They might make a bigger noise than just some jangling.
You get some static over your feed line. So that means there's interrupting signals nearby. There's other radio communications. They're close. Now,
right on top of you.
Yeah, Argo can probably crack into that.
Perhaps. Argo, there's other radio communications. Crack it.
Argo yawns, stretches as he was kind of laying down his sniper and pulls out his little tablet. Well, he wasn't napping. Worse, he was in sniping position. So that means he had to actually get out of his moving.
Yeah, I had to roll over. I'm like, oh god.
So he pulls out his.
So could Iliad still contact Duke, or is he like just now lost because of the static?
No, it's not that kind of static. It's just that there is static in the communication.
Okay, never mind.
So hold on.
Joke.
So go ahead.
Okay, what do I need to roll?
We gotta hack into this. So for a hack, you have level 3, 46% chance to hack in.
I should get some hacking skills. Intelligence, correct?
This is just a straight up, intelligence straight base roll, sorry. But this is a flat out 46% chance for you.
Not great. Another fucking 86.
Yeah,
86.
like Faulty said, what's
shit.
with the 80s? All right.
I think the dice fairs are officially trying to kill us all.
Mira's gonna take the attempt.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, what's Mira's computer?
2.
Right, she got 37.
I was going to say yes, is a computer.
Yeah, it's a computer. 32% chance, or sorry, 37% chance of hacking. Oh, no. Rolling bad.
Of 3. Yeah.
Yeah, yours was 46%. All right, so they got it encrypted. You got a solid encryption. Again, you can't do it instantly. Give you an hour, you're gonna get it. Like it's not complicated, and you can see that already. The encryption is not. They don't have a crazy 8 on it. It's not like layers of encryption. They just got a simple password. It's just gonna take you some time to brute force open. And so, do you want to communicate that, or be like, I can't get in? Ara?
Hello.
Yeah. So do you want to how do you want to play that? Because again, if you have time, you could crack this. You need an hour. Or do you want, or are you going to tell Rhea to push in and figure out more? Or are you going to ask her to pull back so you can get that hour to crack it?
I asked Rhea the much more experience of this type. Hey Rhea, I can crack it, but it's going to take me a long time. Or would you like to just push and I'll give you cover fire?
I mean, I'm already in here. If you can shoot better than you can hack, then
It's a bit rusty.
Duke will
Great.
chime in. I have your 6 if you need me, Rhea.
thought you're on floor 5.
Are you not on floor 5? Looking around. Where art thou?
It's really dark in here. I forgot how to count.
More like at 11:30, Squire.
8 degrees of
not
movement.
going off of times of night. I believe we might be going off of clock formation. At which point, any direction I'm facing is noon.
Ilya,
All right.
this sounds more and more military. Encrypted communications.
The comm interference.
Yeah, well, I'm just encrypted communications, overlapping defensive positions, booby-trapped locations for exit and entry. That requires planning and discipline. The only thing that the only thing they did wrong so far is the heat signature. That's inexperience.
Is it possible that some of these may be just a small contingent of Unity grunts? I believe their number did mention something about high-rise regretting this.
All right, so Rhea, that you have a couple things that might be floating in your head, and again, they're short. So you want to come in down from, you have the floor around you, you have many access points, there's a lot of holes, and you're aware that they're trapping. So how do you want to push in? You want to go kind of aggressively, get as close as you can to the center, or do you want to get better line of sight on the guards and their movements?
Let's go aggressive.
Aggressive. Let's go for the middle. All right. Yeah. So you got a, seems to be an old HVAC opening. HVAC itself has long been torn out, but you do have all of the like the channeling that was there. And interestingly enough, nobody else but you could fit through this. So it's just kind of holes in the walls. And you have a way to crawl through from one wall, from the ceiling down into a wall, into a wet wall that allows you to drop down. But you don't see any easy way back up to where you are at. Gotta be kind of close. You've got about 2 feet of space on either side of you. Playing for you. You can shimmy down. Hold on. I have shouting in the background.
She's venting.
Renee? Renee! No, it's not
Shut
gonna
the
work.
fuck up!
No, she's lovely. I love my wife, but she is loud.
No, Doxter.
You're about to be hit.
Yeah,
Good job. You're about to be hit with a wooden spoon.
It's gonna come around. She's gonna come at me with a spoon. I muted myself on stream. I was just shouting at my wife, like, hey. Because I have an open mic. And Discord actually would filter that out, but the open mic, well, I mean, you guys are hearing, so obviously it's not. But the open mic I use for OBS does not.
Yeah.
Not the best noise gate. But yeah, you're right. I am gonna get the chunk late.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So with this aggressive push, do you want to shimmy down inside this area? It's gonna be close. You have no exit way out, but it's gonna give you access to. You're gonna be like much closer to them. You'll be able to see through this wall section of the, outlets and holes and spigot points.
Why can't you get back?
You can. It's just
a straight drop, or
it's gonna be a. Oh, that's right. Your jump.
Yeah,
You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Yeah, all right.
I totally forgot about the 12-meter jump. All right. So you're able to shimmy down to this section. Again, it's a little bit more claustrophobic, but you can travel through this wet wall with ease, moving through all these old pipes and coming up to this area where you're in the center, and you can see through a gap in the wall. And you're seeing right here, you see a thermal heater that's been propped up. It's old tech. They have it extended out. It's OD green, and it's giving off an orange sodium light. You see there's a bunch of people gathered around it. They're all similarly armored to the guards out around the perimeter. And they're very young. These are children. They're 13, 12, 14, 15 years old. Some of them are wounded. They're tending to they're looking at bandages, looking over people's like war hurts and injuries. There's a few of them who are gathered together who have their weapons stripped down on, blankets, where they're going over the weapons and servicing them and making sure that the sights are good and clean. Just doing the kind of kit treatment that soldiers do when they're like on their rest rotation.
Is there any prevalence of like settlement iconography or any sort of faction?
So Ray, as you're looking around, Roos is asking like, hey, what kind of banners they carry?
Right.
So you can see that some of them have a patch sewn in. It's clumsy. It's not really well sewn. It's stitched on there. It's on their left shoulder. And it looks like a little golden gear.
We got a bunch of kids with guns in here with a golden gear on their shoulder. She's like whispering this in the tents, like got her mouth over the communicator and stuff.
There's a bunch of kids.
They're shouting it. We can overwhelm them. The children, they're inexperienced. Let's get them.
Surprise, motherfuckers! She's in the walls. She's in the goddamn walls.
That's terrifying. The bunny's coming through the wet walls.
Would Bruce recognize a golden gear?
No, that one's new. I never heard of it.
Would either of the knights on the radio here recognize that?
Oh yeah, Duke, you might have fallen out of the sky when you heard that one.
Duke's in the building, man. He's been
He landed on the top floor.
Yo, he's been trying to stealth lower.
I'm looking at Duke. Yeah, Duke Kennard begins to stealthily lower to the floor, getting lower in the floors.
We've fallen.
Golden gear.
Yeah, your heart would have seized in your chest for a minute, and Iliad, whatever counts as your processor, I suppose, would have skipped a beat. Because the golden gear is the symbol of the youth order of the Hydraulic Knights. They were essentially page boys, people who were picked up, selected, and it hadn't been distributed yet into their different job positions. They weren't going to be, most of them were never going to be knights. They might become squires permanently their whole lives. They might work in the galley. They might work as masons. They weren't soldiers.
I was going to say the best would probably have been picked for squireship.
Yeah, the best of them. But there was a lot of them, because it takes a lot to run a fortress, and especially a fortress like Bittertoe that was also a trade hub. Here is a bunch of these kids, and obviously they shouldn't be kids anymore. They should be in their 40s, 50s, or not that long. Sorry, they should be in their 30s or 40s.
Oh shit!
I'll come over the comm to Sariliad. Would you like me to approach from out in the open, sire, and try to open a dialogue?
Fire, Rhea.
What'd you say?
But with me, Squire. I'm approaching now.
I'll go ahead and just straight nosedive out one of the windows.
Okay, Roos, you know that these individuals, again, because of this communication we find, they are really scared. There's a possibility, not a 0% chance, that anyone who just kind of walks up is gonna get popped. There's some shaky hands on guns.
Yeah, you might want to approach it a little more cautiously. These are kids with a trigger finger.
They're pages. I'll be impressed if they manage to fell me with one shot.
Don't say I told you so.
Brea,
I'm just hanging in the background.
Yeah, Argo, I mean, you're seeing him with your scope, again, the same thing that they saw initially, they're organized. If they take fire, they're going to be able to return it from position. I mean, you could blow out the center of them with a single shot, so.
I mean, position, what's that?
Yeah, exactly. What's cover?
Cover, that's just next to obstacle I need to destroy.
I'm deleting that.
These are children.
But do you have your weapon trained on the center mass of the large heat signature, or are you keeping it on the guards on the outside?
Currently on the center mass.
Yeah, because it's a decapitating blow if you hit it.
Yeah.
Because again, who knows what's gonna happen. And it's good to have that option, even if you're never exercising it. So with that information, and I got Ray over here, open fire, get a lot of interference in this wall. this is the chat here. Ray, you can see that the wounds that these kids have sustained are energy wounds. Like, there's a couple of these ones who are not going to live to see morning. It's just the injury is too severe. You know, you've seen burn marks like tear away flesh, like disintegrate arms. Some of them are definitely already like coming down with fever, dehydration. They got in a fight with somebody, and you know, they're not terrible looking. Not everyone's sporting wounds, but you know, a couple of them went down.
Can I go for an ass pull?
An ass pull?
Yeah, so one of the things I wanted to do with the interaction with April is I was going to ask if she had like some leftover gas grenades, some knockout grenades.
Yeah. Yeah, so you get a couple, a couple tear gas and what are you trying to use, like oxygen displacement grenade for like knockout?
Yeah, we could just she's in the ventilation system, so she can just pull up her filter mask and kind of gas them out.
Telling everyone
That'll
to calm the fuck down.
So the labels are a little worn out, so I don't know which one's the nerve gas, which one's the knockout gas, but
Oh my God.
Throw them both, let God sort it out.
Yeah, right. As amusing as that is, does Rhea think honestly that's going to improve the situation into
Well, I mean,
a de-escalation? But it is a good option to have if it goes fucking haywire.
de-escalate, that has a chance to just completely negate the whole interaction. Well, I mean, the bunch of them get knocked out, we don't have to worry about them, we can subdue the other ones.
True. Again, do you want to do this violently then?
Yeah.
I mean, it's an option. These are your boys.
It's an option. Yeah.
They're Iliad. And
How about you let me attempt to speak with them before we start trying to slaughter children?
slaughter. Listen, it's just a little light asphyxiation.
Chime in over the
Let me attempt, Rhea.
I'm sure they all play the choking game in their off time.
Sort the grenade out, but do not use until said time that you have been instructed.
Roger.
I don't think.
I thank thee.
I'll just sit here with my gun.
Waiting.
Something comes over the radio. Pumpkin noise.
What's that buzzing sound?
Ronan's just sitting there chewing on a communicator.
I don't like use this thing. Can you imagine Whiskey Tango with it as well? Like, what am I going to do with this?
Probably shove it into an interface or something.
This sounds like a BIOS beep noise on the opposite
He's chewing
side.
on one. He's got two more sticking out of his eyes, pretending they're eyeballs.
So, all right. Iliad, how are you going to do this? How do you make yourself visible to a guard that's jumpy?
Let's see.
You want to...
Is there...
I don't want you to forget, you have the option to give Aura an hour to hack into their line.
Oh, was that shared with anyone? Because that would be
You would know. It's again, it's freaking Argo.
I'm not sure
We have
what's
an
shared
open-
around, but
yeah,
Yeah.
I think we have an open comm channel
we
between
can
all of
open
us.
it. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you could do that, that's preferable. Just keep an eye on them, and if something happens, we could also lend a hand to them. That might earn their favor as well.
Oh, I guess I'll be doing that then.
I have night vision.
Argo slyly puts down the rifle and pulls out his hacking device.
So, Argo, you get to
Ronan
work.
gently sets it down from where he was positioned as his bipod.
Pumpkin pod.
That don't move.
It's true.
Flop.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, you could just use your vines to create like a stable mount.
It's like a chicken.
Yeah. Gyroscopic head.
Yeah.
So, Argo, you're able to bypass its security if you take the time to actually examine it. It's not very complicated. It's fairly rudimentary, and once you figure out the logarithmic code to it, you just crack it instantly. And it's like, all right, yeah, it's open. Now, during that time though, Rhea, You definitely watch one of these like teenagers die from their injuries. Like there's a little bit of motion and commotion as like they begin to seize up, and the couple of them come over and they're trying to keep him quiet as they're holding him down, and his body convulses a few times and then he's still. You've seen again massive energy wounds before. He probably had a heart attack. That's a lot of voltage and amperage going through the body, and the organs just can't survive it. There's no tissue regulator that could have been used to save them. They were gonna die of that. It was literally just a matter of time.
Sorry, they're dying.
So,
they're dying in here. Do we have an hour?
No, it's just the one. It was just the one.
Well, I mean, the first one.
Yeah, the first one. A few other ones have some pretty bad injuries, but you're looking at a handful, like 4 or 5. Might not make it.
Shall we begin the negotiations, Sir Elliot?
Is it ready, Argo?
Argo, you're ready.
It's online.
Right. Argo will put his, not Argo. Iliad will put his hand to the communicator, then realize it's under his helmet, so he can't really do that. And then just taps into it with his electronic link. And then he'll open by saying, very blunt, very straightforward. This is Sir Iliad of the Hydraulic Knights. Respond. Just straight into the communicator.
They all simultaneously shit their pants.
Right? there is
That
like
heat signature just flipped really wide all of a sudden.
there's suddenly like a lot of movement. A bunch of people on the outside crouch in their windows by a wall. They hold up gun positions. They're minimizing their profile. They instantly get into these positions. And on the inside, like everyone just goes still. One older teenager picks up his communicator from somebody else and puts it on around his neck and puts something to his throat and repeat. Say again your last.
This is Sir Iliad of the Hydraulic Knights. Respond. Who is this?
There's silence for a moment, and it drags on for a bit. And Rhea, from your position, you can see this individual, a young man. He's barely able to put a razor to his face every day. And his eyes are wide, and you can see his mind is racing. He brings his fingers back up to the communicator. He touches them. This is Knight Cavalier Julius. That's not a rank you're familiar with. Never heard Knight Cavalier before. We are with the 25th Reconnaissance Unit. Come out into the open and identify yourself.
Do I recognize that unit name even?
Not even. None of that. None of that. Knights didn't have military. The Hydraulic Knights weren't a military like that. Each of the knights was a force unto himself. Yeah, Rhea, just a kid. He's playing you for a chump.
I apologize. Did you say Knight Cavalier?
Puts his fingers to his throat again and he speaks. If you are indeed Iliad of the old record, you have been dead for 20 years. I've seen your name on the stone of recalling. You were numbered amongst those who died at Bittertoe.
Very well. I will step out. I have my squire with me, so there'll be 2 of us. But please note, if any ill will comes to either of us, you will die.
He takes his fingers off and he thinks, you can see he breathes for a minute. He like stabilizes and relaxes himself. Puts his fingers back to his throat. I have gunmen on every position. They will have their weapons on me. You attempt to take me, kill me. You attempt to attack us, they will shoot you. Do we understand each other in our plane?
Clearly. Give me but one moment, and then I'll cut the feed. Possibly Cinder. Maybe she's reconstituted the order in some different way. I'm not sure, however.
And you've lost your memory, if I remember.
Most of it, yes.
And your squire there has been lost in time for 20 years, I think you said something.
As impossible as it may seem, yes.
So 20 years of possible activity you know nothing about. I don't know. He could be playing for a chump like Rhea said. I don't know. It just seemed like, I was there. I saw the whole Athena manifestation. He talked about this kind of stuff. So, hey, I thought maybe I should throw in 2 cents. Not really my business, though.
Because they're preoccupied with Iliad, is there a chance that Roos can creep into this kid's mind from the back end? Okay.
All right. So you're going against somebody who's neutral now instead of an enemy?
Okay.
Go.
Iliad will be sure to link up with Duke, so it, he doesn't just pop in and startle anyone. He wants to approach as straight ahead as possible to this individual.
On your marks, there.
All right, so what do we got? We have a 18% chance of getting him.
Duke will inform Cerealia that he did come over the comms to Rhea to request that she prepare gas if need be.
The kid's mind is disciplined. It's organized.
God damn it.
You get some surface emotions. You get some little interactions. Again, there's a rhythmic pattern. Again, you can feel it. He's doing some kind of mantra in his head. He's going through like plans, options, orders. There's a lot of fear still in the other people in the tower.
So he's trying to default to training.
Yeah, he is defaulting to training. He's leaning back on that, but you can't really get like a clear image of his sub-vocalizations. When he does come out, Rhea and actually Argo, you see the disposition of the troops, the way he lays them out. He has some on the back guarding the back entrance. He has other ones checking the stairwell up and down and securing those locations and checking them. He has a series of 4 gunners. One of them, Argo, you recognize, has a long shot zap gun. You see it by its profile and energy reading. It's not shielded properly. There's a chance it blows up in this kid's hands. A low chance, but it could happen. Because again, it's leaking.
Amateur.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's amateur hour. Like he didn't the field isn't stable. Like your weapon is.
Fuck it, I will fucking fix that for you. You come down, not try to kill us.
Yeah, you could easily too.
Argo is just now mumbling insanities to himself. Why is all their equipment so fucked up?
So, and you're on radio too, so other people might actually hear you say that. And do you want to communicate that to other people? Because that might be an interesting wrinkle.
He might be mumbling it a bit too loudly then.
Okay. So Iliad, Argo is mumbling to himself. He's seen that the kit they're using isn't properly maintained, or they don't know how to do it.
Fucking pogues.
Person other than Grunt.
What?
So you get out there. You're out in the open.
Yeah, when the boy comes into the open,
he's up
will subtly lock on and paint him. Small infrared target on his body.
So he walks out of the building. He's striding across the sands. He is wearing a survival suit. He is unmasked. He has exposed his head. He has no rifle or firearm on his side, but he has a sword, and he holds it up unstrapped, and then he has it in his left hand. It's short blade. It wouldn't really qualify as a sword in any other location. They would call it a short sword. It's a stabbing weapon. And he holds it up where you can see it, and he puts it down on the sands and then steps forward a few paces in front of it. He still has his knife on the front of him. It's simple, straight blade, straight edged, with no guard and just a very blade wrapped hilt. A functional weapon. He's young, brown eyes. You know,
Would
he's
that
still got some
maneuver
baby fat.
Be familiar to Iliad? Would like a proper response for Iliad to lay his battle axe down?
Yeah, essentially he's coming forward with I am unarmed, but I still have the ability to fight.
Iliad can't drop like 90% of his weaponry,
Yeah.
so he will do the same with his battle axe to show like I will attempt to match your energy here. So yeah, Iliad will do that and then approach the teenager more so, but also like making it a point to have his shield directed towards him so he can see Iliad's heraldry. But the axe embedded in the quote unquote skull of a Shrike behind the golden cog. Well, ahead of the golden cog. The cog's like the background, essentially, looking like, more like a sun.
So,
Duke will follow Iliad, but maintain a respectable pacing behind him.
so he stands before you. His legs are slightly spread, and he doesn't offer you any salute. He just tilts his head back, looking up at Iliad. Knight Cavalier Julius of the 25th.
Hospitaller Iliad of the Hydraulic Knights.
He sucks in air through his teeth, and you can see like that. Just hearing that rattled him. And he like looks at you in full profile and presence, and with only the moon silhouetting you and casting just that pale light. I've thought you were all dead.
There are survivors.
He swallows, and you can see he's trying to think. He's thinking fast, and he's completely caught unawares of what to do. You're a hospitaller. Do you have medical supplies?
Aye.
Some of my men were wounded in action this afternoon. They're in need of aid, or they'll die by morning. Already lost one. It's a shock.
I will help as many as I can, but I have a few questions for you first, Knight Cavalier.
Yeah.
Sir
Yes.
Knight, I ask that you perform this task first in good faith. Then, when my men are seen to, if they can be saved, you will have my full attention.
Iliad thinks for a moment, and then, well, he can't really do much. He has
So
no facial features
you have Red
expressive.
Rum. So if you read the chat on the side, Red Rum's there as a lie detector right now. Red Rum, no, he's not lying.
All right.
He's afraid.
She'll pass that on the radio channel.
He is afraid, like very afraid. He is shocked. He doesn't trust Iliad. And so this little like goodwill thing is kind of like, I need to see to my men first. Like he has a lot of responsibility heaped on his shoulders. And he doesn't have the discipline of mind to be someone who's in that position.
I offer a compromise.
If it pleases
One question. You answer me one question, I see to all of your men.
Very well, sir.
Who knighted you?
He breathes in and he stares and he looks up. I was knighted posthumously in the field of battle. My rank will be taken from me when we are back in the ruins of Bittertoe. However, a squire cannot lead a warband. And so he's like admitting to he has a field promotion. His lieutenant died.
And just waiting for the confirmation from the lie detector.
That seems truthful. There is obfuscation there. He's trying not to tell everything about it, but it wasn't like there's no hostility there.
Truth with something he's hiding, but truth.
I'm a knight of my word. I'll save any follow-up questions for after I see you to your men.
Thank you, sir. As he turns and he sees Duke for the first time, looks at him and he looks him up and down. Please introduce yourself.
Duke Kennard, member of the Ordo Hydraulis, squire apparent to the Black Knight.
The kid's eyes widen at the mention of the Black Knight. And he just gives him a thank you for the introduction. Red
Save you
Rum.
thy thanks. See us to your men.
He knew what that meant. Like, the kid was like, recognize the name. Iliad, it was like, that was shock. Like, you're dead. Like, that's not possible. Not the same reaction for the Black Knight. That's like, nope, that's a name I know. That's like you just said George. Like, down the street, my neighbor. Like, it was very familial.
But does Iliad know of the Black Knight?
Oh yeah, again, he was another knight in the order. Not particularly famous. Good. Used a. He was known for hit and runs, fast movement, very strong, very kind of wild, but also incredibly noble. Kind of his own, vagrant body out there. He couldn't be reined in, so he gained the appellage the Black Knight. You can't paint stripes on that bear.
Well, Iliad, again, keeps to his word. He's saving questions, gathering them in his head, but saving them for now until after he is done with his work here.
All right, so when you're allowed in, you can see the men, the injuries they have. These are zap gun wounds. One of them is a pretty serious, scatter gun wound. Do you pry into what caused it? So that on the all right.
I'll ask in case there's any. I only have junk doctor, but I'm willing to offer whatever aid I can.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna need it here. So it looks like they got hit by a group of robots coming out of Tetanus Valley. That it was just they got side blinded. It was suddenly, coming up out of the Silt Sea was a group of robots and just gunfire. They managed to take cover, return fire, and push into them and take them down, but they took casualties. They left his lieutenant and 2 others on the field dead, but they were able to take out 4 robots. One light combat, 1 heavy combat, and 2 auxiliary types.
I'm assuming this is all seen as true.
For Red Rum's sake, yeah, it seems true.
Yeah, I was going to say, as we approached, I would like to have asked if any members of our party might be able to come in, those with additional medical knowledge.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we do have I have a few compatriots traveling with me who are quite talented in the healing arts. They could potentially help your men feel better quicker.
Yeah, and he assumes, again, as a hospitaller, you're not by yourself, that you're going to have aides and attendants.
A retinue of some form.
Yeah.
Whiskey does have medical. Although he does officially have a title.
Does Rhea just stay on the walls?
No. She comes out eventually when the coast is considered clear.
Can you imagine how terrible? Yeah.
Oh, my back!
Wait, what?
Like, you were in the
I
walls
saw
the
your
whole
little-
time? Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
afraid
that's
I'd
the
have
whole
to-
thing where she slides out my back. Fine.
Hey, Tim,
Yeah.
question. So, for the 2 ranks that I have in Psyker, I took only 1 skill, which was telekinetic shield.
Yeah.
Can I choose to take a second and get healing touch? I have contact healing, so it's not a complete out of
Yeah,
sync
we
option.
we also have to work on the scaling That was the other thing. So I would say yes for now, and then we'll work on how we're going to scale it out, because we have to rewrite all of those mutations.
Right, but with our initial very brief description,
I think that would make sense with how we're trying to write it.
What we were suggesting initially,
Yeah, it would make sense to go in that direction.
All right, so I'm going to
so for anyone who doesn't know,
offer to go in.
We're creating branches in the telekinetic, psychic, pyrotechnetic, healing, touch, like psychic branches. And it's going to have like the baseline, and then they're going to improve, and they're going to have more of the weapons expert ability, where you'll be able to, on some of them, you could choose that one to like raise its rank and like strike value, because right now there is no way to improve those, whereas you can like unless you get like a random roll on the willpower table. So they tend to stay at like the 60s, 70s for strike value. We could bump that. We just gotta find the right balance for it. Excuse me. We gotta find the right balance for it. And we can find it best by playing with it in play. And then, dialing it back or increasing it as we go.
Yep.
And so that's all part of the creation process for listening and participating. You just gotta do it live. So from Red Rum's perspective, again, there's a lot of shock and awe. A lot of these kids are suddenly like, they're looking at a living legend who has walked out, and they don't know how to interpret that. There is some hostility because this is an alien body who's coming in, a robot. They were just fighting robots. And so some of them are kind of like, there's some hesitation there. But the majority of them, they don't seem to have any ill will towards robots in general. It's just like, we just were attacked. And a stranger's come up saying he's going to help us. And since you guys are, it seems to be going well.
Well, and Red Rum is coming over as well, and she's not masking herself. So they get punched in the nose with her full 100 appearance.
Yeah.
and positive emotional vibe. She's going to actually do emotion induction trust.
Oh, okay. Make it nice and subtle. So did Roos go in, or did Kit, or did both? Who's providing both? So Argo's like
going over.
Argo's the only one providing Overwatch.
Currently,
Well, Cinder is.
Okay, so yep, Cinder is too. Yep.
Cinder's not walking in there. Fuck that.
Vernon's providing melee watch for them, for the two snipers.
Oh, Argo, in your Overwatch position, you've hacked that communication, and like you've got your pad near you. You've looked at it. You've got your scope open. You see a third signal coming in. It's weak. It's got an interesting kind of like energy spike to it. It's kind of like growing over time. So first it's just a tiny little bit, and it's like maybe it's static, but no, that's definitely a hard signal. Something's talking to something else nearby. You want to peek at it, or do you want to be like,
I'm gonna give it a peek. Yeah.
All right. So it's got a basic shield on it, but you've already broken one of these. This is a Unity signal.
Ooh.
Yeah, so you've already cracked one of these open. Like this is nothing for you. You can crack it, but the problem with Unity signals, if you tap into them because of their communication network, sometimes they can backtrace to you. If you're just listening and just gaining in, they don't know, because you're just pulling from the open bandwidth. But if you send any signal back, they might be able to triangulate back.
Okay. First, I'll listen in. If I feel like I should go more, I'll go more. But for now, just listening.
So it's telemetry data. Position, location, elevation, position of the stars. It's a drone. It's a tracking drone that is basically moving about an area, mapping it, and keep telemetry. Kind of like an idea of its three-dimensional space. It's primitive. It's not very intelligent. Doesn't seem to have any kind of like heuristic functions. It's not like learning, thinking. It's just spitting out data. But it's in the area within a kilometer.
I'm gonna relay this back to my party that there is a tracking thing robot within 1 kilometer, and it's currently just scanning around. Would you like me to shoot it?
would it be best to kill? Well, not our communication signals. Is it hidden from Unity, or would it still hear it, quote unquote, even if it can't understand what we're spitting out?
Like, I believe they should be able to technically see our signal, but not interpret it.
Okay, so it's still nowhere in the area.
Well, I mean, they just know that there is a frequency.
Yeah, they don't know what it is. Yeah.
What it's saying or anything of that nature.
Yeah, remember, Argo's got that locked up.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Right, so, I mean, I'm just saying, like, it sounds like it's probably best for these kids to shut their radio down immediately, because this thing could triangulate on that. But, like, what should we do the same with ours? To hide from it, more or less.
So, first off, do you tell them that, like, there's a drone?
Yes. That's the first thing he said.
Yeah. Well, the party knows, but Iliad's not going to tell him that. He's going to say to
Julius
to shut the radio off.
He says that is against the communications need to be maintained at all times during a hostile environment, especially in this zone. What justification do you give for turning off communications?
Do you want to be found?
He looks at you. Found by what?
By the enemy. And it, like, how Iliad says that is not by, like, just any enemy, but like the enemy.
The enemy, yeah, Unity. He narrows his eyes and he turns to some of the men. He's like, "Go cold," and they turn off the heater. Communications. They start switching off their communicators everywhere. He's like, line of sight. All guardsmen establish a line of communication. Pass it on. Hand signals only, and they just snap right to it.
Get your heat signatures under control too. You're glowing like a campfire.
And so they kill the heater, and the heat starts leaving the area very rapidly. Argo, there's a lot of leaks in their weapons. Like, even though they killed the heat, they're giving off EM signatures pretty bad. It doesn't matter.
Argo's
They're basically
just having a field day.
Yeah. So even though they killed the heat, it makes them less visible. But those EM signals basically are like flares in the windows.
Is that something that can be seen with thermal?
No, thankfully not.
Okay.
Your guns are shit. I want to repair them, but you guys are far away.
Yeah. So most you specifically, Argo, are one of the only ones who will see EM signatures. You have to have robotic sensors to pick up that kind of energy signal. So the drone probably has that. If it's a recon drone, yeah.
Iliad will call in, actually. Argo, do you think you could potentially do something with that before it gets a signal on us?
Maybe something quick. Probably won't be very good, but maybe something quick.
Centro, I want it.
Then Iliad will turn back to the child, Julius. I gotta stop calling him a child.
That was a damn good roll, by the way.
And you say,
Best you can get.
look,
Yep.
we could potentially stop this thing from seeing us, but it turns out your weapons are poorly maintained and could potentially give your position away before we get that done.
Okay, so hold on. We have a sphere that Red Rum's putting up. It's 10-meter sphere around her. What does it do again?
No. 50 meter.
50 meter. All right. What's it? Is it calming?
All within need to make a type B int check or feel an unusually large amount of trust. And that's kind of like across the board. So it would be trust in each other, trust in the new strangers,
Yeah, it breaks down
trust in the
anxiety.
information that's being given them.
Yeah, it gets them all in line. So players, you can choose to fail that so that you have like negative emotions, things like that are cleared from your mind.
Would
And
robots feel that? Does that affect
No.
robots?
No.
No.
Iliad
robots.
just kind of...
Yeah, but for
Shut
And
Miles,
nobody with a mind screen like Duck Canard.
Yeah,
Oh,
Duke
but-
has mind screening encounter technically, so
I'm gonna have since the
But
kids
I
are
rolled a 1 on my counter resistance, so I don't trust Duck. Ha.
that's fine. I just wanted to make sure not to hurt you. That's why he's
know.
telling people.
It can't really hurt. It's just trust.
So for the kids, I'm gonna have them automatically fail because there's really no negative to this.
Okay.
And they're all gonna fail. They're gonna be able to. They easily start breaking into it, and you can see their whole disposition relax, but also slow is smooth, smooth is fast, and you're seeing that spread very quickly as they calm down. They're less likely to make a mistake.
At Roos at this moment and kind of like gives a nod.
Yeah.
Well, actually, let's see how's Julius react.
He seems much more collected. He's calmer. He seems like things are under control. He's like, I want eyes on that drone. He's like, it's got to be a hunter seeker. And he's talking.
Attempt to invade.
Invade the drone?
Julius,
You want to get into his head?
now he's trusting.
Yeah, he's trusting. Do it. He doesn't know if you fail.
And I imagine that, Rum, you're focusing on the most wounded first.
Yes.
Yeah,
The
I figured I
girl
just wanted
who
to.
might die. She also has like herbal stuff, disinfectant, antitoxin, all that stuff. If just pure endurance is not enough.
Yeah, Duke will be happy to be running back and forth for you while you focus on the more critical.
An 88
She also
again.
has-
Yeah, right? Like, what the fuck?
You just
I was gonna say, if he's trusting, is there any resistance?
you've got a mental block yourself, or
Something.
No.
must not read the mind of this kid. Must not read the mind of this kid.
He's
what's
artificial.
going on.
Put
I'm
him
gonna find
down.
all the porn that he's consumed or something.
You're afraid of what you're going to see.
Well, look at Red Rum. You know exactly what they're thinking about.
So again, we're gonna have no resistance to it though. Yeah.
He's not wrong.
Because of the trust from Red Rum, we're gonna have no resistance to this. It's just gonna instantly go in there. You'll be able to peel away those surface thoughts. It's different than two-way communication, which is the normal usage of telepathy. And so, like when someone blocks it, that's good for a month. Here, we're altering it. And so you can look at the top surface thoughts. Now, there is a side effect to Red Rum calming their minds out. Is it also stills it. There is trust. There's confidence now at the surface. There's also not fear, but a knowledge of the enemy. What he is thinking of is that this is a hunter-seeker drone. It's something that's sent out as a reconnaissance unit that chases down individuals who are out in the high desert. They're not attacking variants, but they do send back telemetry to strike teams. And he does have all this knowledge on the top of his head. He's determining like distance from like where their possible ambush locations could be, what they're going to be pushing out at. They did fight robots from Tetanus Valley, but the chances of those being actual Unity soldiers is very little. Tetanus Valley means they were probably damaged robots. So this drone, because they're so close to high rise, might just be a high rise drone. Could be a Unity drone. Could be one that's infected with the Lissa virus. It's just
Right.
insane. You're just walking around, just screaming telemetry at nothing. Yep. So Argo, you were like, all right, I'm gonna get in there and do a simple, quick, like DDoS on this thing, make it just crash to the ground.
I mean,
Disrupt
if I can
it.
get it to do a slow fall down so I can steal it.
Oh yeah, it probably is. It's gonna have its own systems to stop it from having a catastrophic like drop to the ground.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, something
Then
that's
yes,
not
I would
reliant
like
on CPU. Okay, so we're gonna take a hacking attempt. Yeah, that's them. Yeah, that's a 32 over 68. You got it. Yeah, hacking the CPU. 46% chance for you. Done and done. Yep, you hacked it. You're in. You've got control over its master control system. Like, just completely.
So,
You can tell
would I
it to do
know if
whatever you
it's
want.
sending anything to someone, or
It's
is
sending...
it just going wild?
It is sending data packs to something. It seems to be a relay point. There's like a series of them and it's sending them in small bursts. And it is kind of what you expect: temperature, thermal readings, silhouettes, movements of individuals, star patterns. It is just a scout. It's just taking a reading of the surface and telemetry. Kind of important to have. It's got a lot of sensors for all sorts of different features. It can see a lot and record it, but it has no intelligence.
Okay.
And you basically
just
can tell it to do
girl.
what you want it to do.
I'm just gonna have it tend to have basically a just power outage and slowly fall down.
Very cool. Yeah, it makes it look natural.
Yep, because I don't want to be looking fake. Nope, I just want to be real, so I can steal it, motherfucker.
Yeah. I like it. So you make it have like a little tiny error in its program, like, oh yeah, this is an error, like beep beep beep, touching down, doing a yeah that noise. It blue screen, and so it's touching down. It's like you made it look very very normal. And it's like, oh well, we lost the drone. That happens. It wasn't destroyed. It just had a operation error and went. And yeah, it safely lands on the sands. And anyone like picks it up, collects it, and you guys have this recon drone. With again all sorts of sensor capabilities, and you have complete access to it already on your tab. Hacking, make it do whatever you want. So after that is resolved, and we're going to give 10 EFs to Red Rum, to Rhea. Well, actually to everybody. I think everyone did something with this overwatching, guarding, and stuff like that, so I think everyone should probably get 10 EFs for all the skill checks we've been doing. But I don't think anyone didn't do it. Well, except for fucking Pumpkin. Pumpkin acted as a kickstand, so...
That's very helpful.
That's very helpful to Argo, right? 10 EFs for kickstands. Yeah.
Aaron's fine with that. He just sat there
And just did pumpkin
contemplating
noises.
what a navel is.
Argo has many plans now.
So with that resolved, the kids are trusting. They've gone over their whole process. Now, Ilya, did you want to really ask them anything else now that this little crisis is resolved?
Yeah. Did have a couple questions. One kind of got lost to the ether as we were kind of doing this, but the one that did kind of weigh on his mind, it was one that had the half-truth answer, more or less, to it. And that would be... So Iliad goes on to ask, so who was your knight, Sir Julius?
He sits down with some of his men. He's like inspecting their injuries that they have been like healed, and like he's looking at like what's being done. He thought it was going to be tech that was going to be healing them, and he's like observing. He's like, oh okay, and Bruce, you get it in, like run across the surface of his mind is mute. Not negative, just identifying. Like, okay, these are mutants.
Well, Ilya did use his medic skill as well here. He did clean the wounds at least.
But he figured out pretty quickly that amongst the party is a mutant with some kind of healing ability. He doesn't know what it is or which one of you is doing it. But he's like, all right, this is they're healing too quick. So he's intelligent enough to perceive that. He just doesn't know which one did it.
If any of them require amputation, Duke will start cobbling together parts.
Some of them did have amputated injuries, burned off limbs. So with that, he's like,
"This is gonna hurt like hell, son."
Yeah, some biting the belt and taking the injury.
No. Rumroad tries to stop you and says, "Let me give them painkiller. They won't feel it."
What I mean is, forgive my tone. What I mean is that they will feel this afterwards. For the remainder of their life, as he pulls his pant leg up to show the cobbled together leg he has.
Yeah. But for the surgery, at least.
Yeah.
But Ilya can help with that too. He also has a jump doctor.
Yeah, right. He's gonna patch this kid up. So Julius gives you a list of different people that have been out or two, and it seems from his summation that he gives you, he was trained by a knight hospitaller such as yourself from Colossus, known as Auroros, and that sounds familiar. Like you were talking to some of the beetles, one of them had taken on Oros, like the gold, and it seems to be a family name. Mm-hmm. Like one of the beetles was over at Bittertoe, and they like gathered together young men. He explains that he was Just another orphaned kid in Greywater, just coming in with a caravan, dumped and left. And some of the beetles of the Colossus basically gathered them all up and brought them to Colossus and started training them. And there was this one beetle that had this like kind of strange gilded, like golden, like shell. It was painted. It was actually gold. And he trained them how to use weapons and equipment and scouting and how to maintain a field organization and get water from the environment, food. Had-mouthed the beetles. Then, after they had gotten enough training, he brought them to Bittertoe. And it was a ruin. And one of the first things he did was to reinstall the arch of when you enter. That, it was such the ceremony, he doesn't really understand it because he can't read. So he doesn't know what the words meant above the archway. But he remembers like the ceremony that was involved in the process. And, other people came forward, but none of them claimed to be knights. They were like, I was the head chef. I was a clothier. I was an information clerk. I was a yeoman. I was a guard at, gate 5. That's who their leaders were. That's who they are.
The survivors of Bittertoe appear to be just the support staff.
That would be the
then
majority.
How know the Black Knight? How dost thou know mine, Lord?
They tell stories about him still. He was lost in the mills 5 years ago.
So another yet lives.
I thank thee then.
He
Seems mine search doth continue.
There was a weapon he was seeking. A sword. He just shakes his head. I don't know why it was so important.
I thank thee.
Yeah, the
Julius.
processor will start running. Like, wait a minute.
You remember?
Mills, sword.
You remember this. There was a knight. The bits and pieces of the story are lost to you, but you remember enough. There was a knight, and he had gone into the mills to fight the beast of the mills, a monstrosity, a creature of awesome power, and he had fought it in single combat. And your vision of this, again, is a humanoid, massive, with a small head and huge shoulders and broad, wide hands and an incredible gait. And the more you remember and piece it together, you're looking at a Garnock. A hydraulic knight that was a Garnock. And he wield a massive weapon that was energized and could level buildings with a single swing and shatter obstacles and explode robots. He was a titan on the battlefield. And he died there. He died upon a heap of monstrosities with his sword plunged through them. And his body is a monument. In that position, his grave is that sword, stacked upon heaps and heaps of oglings, creatures of the twisted wastelands. And none have ever retrieved it, because none could wield it. But the Black Knight could. It was large, it was powerful, intelligent, capable. Maybe he went to go find it. Because there's a beast out there, a large one, that needs to be killed.
May pay a stop to the mills in our journeys.
He says the mills are off limits to any of the Cavalier groups or any of the scout patrols. We go up the road to the Demon's Parade to the edge of Hayaki Yagyo. We trade with them, come back, where to avoid the mills and stay on the road between Gehenna, the Great Mill.
You keep saying this term Cavalier. What is this?
I apologize. It is, well, mounted units, cavalry. But
Elliot looks at the lack of horses around.
Chevalier in the old tongue, my lord.
Right. But he specified.
Where's your mounts?
He kind of like, you can see that there's like a little bit of discontent, a little bit of shame there. Well, I lost it in the Silt Seas.
Oh, really?
It. Questions, Duke.
Did you sink
Singular.
It was and then he describes the vessel you guys found.
Fighters keepers.
Yeah.
Was his name Artax by perchance?
That was my lord's steed.
Yeah, the mount.
Artax.
Shut up! Shut up! I realized what you just did. Shut up.
Lost in the mud.
Mine lord doth had a steed.
Iliad looks at the camera with a smirk.
With two
How dare
dead
you.
eyes, he can't smirk.
He's smirking in his little robot mind.
Some people might be
Robot
too young to
smirking
get that
noise.
reference, but that's okay. It was traumatizing to all of us who lived to see it.
Mm-hmm.
You could say that story never ended. Iliad looks at the camera
Yeah.
again.
I'm banning you
Just
right
clap.
now. I'm taking you out.
Oh,
Get this guy out of here right now.
That's
Ban him.
horrible.
Wow.
Tomato emojis in the chat right now.
Oh, yeah, let me see if I can find him to me. Oh.
There you go. Mira gives you a smiley face emoji.
Yeah.
Tomato emojis in the chat. Ban Rune right now. Mods, get him out of here.
Yeah, I'm the mod.
He's the mod.
For danger.
Is there a
You
tomato?
can't
There's
stop
gotta
the
be
truth. Oh yeah, as far as like a freaking emote for that, yeah. There's tomato.
one. Yep, there it is. Tomato. Boom. Tomato. Yep. Too funny. Tomato emojis for super bad jokes. God, I just opened up Dungeon Draft trying to tomato you. Where's the screen that I was? There we are. So, with the kind of bit of cobble information, he doesn't know a whole lot. He is a low-level functionary within, it sounds like a military. And the impression you are getting from him, from what he understands, that it's a order of young men and women. It seems like whoever's up at Bittertoe is organizing a militia of sorts. Nothing like the knights. Again, the knights were heroes in of their own power that traveled the wastelands, fighting monstrosities and doing these great deeds. This looks like somebody has gathered together like orphans, like people that nobody wanted, and took all these kids that would have grown up to either be fodder, like victims, or bandits, and decided to train them, outfit them, and put them to use. So that's interesting.
Yeah. See, Iliad's not going to go off on like this, oh, you're a pretender kind of tangent, but he is interested in the whole deal. And so his last one of the last questions he'll ask is, so, well, actually, or hasn't been answered out. Like, he's asking for specific names of these leaders. He, like, the man who he's with, who died, who gave him the field promotion, the people at Bittertoe, these, the auxiliary and support units. Like, he wants to know their names, and like if he
What is thy
remembers
force
them.
structure?
So from what
Who
you
is
get
thy
out
Lord
of him,
Commander?
his lieutenant's name was Alex, and it doesn't mean anything to you. From what you get more out of him, Alex was only about 5 years older than this kid. He was 24, 23. He would have been a toddler when Bittertoe fell.
Hey, y'all are younglings.
Yeah. And as we're looking around again, none of these kids are like, they're not younger than 12, but there's really nobody older than 17.
So the rabbit asks a good question, however. What was your mission? Why are you
Reconnaissance.
here?
We were performing reconnaissance along the edge of Tetanus Valley, looking for any strays that were coming out and keeping a count on the amount that wandered into the perimeters of Grey. We have a contract.
Contract.
Forward surveillance for Greywater.
That makes Iliad feel, if he could, disgust.
Yeah, he's like,
Privatizing the
Great.
hydraulic knights.
yeah, gray water provides a lot of needed, sustenance and food and supplies up to Bittertoe, because we haven't been able to get the power reclamation units working or any of the water pumps up and operational. They keep breaking down. He says, honestly, without gray water, the fortress would have fallen to sand.
And who is the commander, your highest rank amongst you? Not here, at Bittertoe.
It looks like, well, that'd be Captain Gordian. That name is like a wrinkle in the back of your head. You're like, that is somebody. Like, you remember a middle-aged man, a chef, like a head cook, quartermaster, somebody in that kind of fielding area. It's not something you would communicate with on a daily basis because you're a robot. Duke might have. Because he has to eat.
The name is familiar. Strange. Noble of them to take on a more militaristic rank.
Perhaps.
Agreed.
They're acting little more than mercenaries at the moment.
Agreed. Mayhap garnering information from the source itself would be best.
I agree. And for now, until proven otherwise, I will consider you a type of kin to us, Cavalier Julius. That being said, I offer you my added protection for your wounded men through the night.
He thanks you for that, and any more men on the on the wall would be helpful to be able to keep the enemy out. And he does say that though his willpower is strong, the flesh is weak, and he does need to get a few hours of sleep before dawn.
Well, let all of your men rest.
I keep watch.
Yeah, she's really
This
good at
one- Yes, this one also will keep watch.
So, going back over towards the building where you got Cinder and Argo, where is Mira right now?
With the group.
I was gonna with the group. I didn't know if she was digging into that flight craft.
I was gonna say she's currently in the void of the internet.
Yeah, somewhere like that. I mean, yeah, if Barbo wanted to toss the drone over to her.
I mean, I haven't grabbed it. It's still out there, a kilometer away.
Yeah, I imagine it's just right by the building we came in.
Yeah,
Probably.
Because Ronan drug it out and hooked it up to the solar cow.
no, I mean the drone.
Oh, you're talking
or
about the
the-
drone. The drone.
Two different things.
The hunter seeker.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
my brain blinked.
All good. I mean, eventually I'll go get it for Mira, because then I'll be very happy to see a Mira Scout.
What's WTF doing?
Yeah, what's Whiskey Tango got going on?
Fuck. Oh, well, he was supposed to be healing, but apparently that got taken care of way too fast for him.
I imagine he's been helping with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, send
nothing
Whiskey
terrible.
Tango Frank, send him to get it.
I mean, you know what? Fuck it, yeah. He does have the tracks, which means he can go over sand pretty fucking well.
Not exactly helpless, and he could always call for help if need be.
So
Yeah.
Whiskey Tango, when he goes to retrieve this drone, it kind of looks like a discus. Got a lot of sensor pips all on the bottom of it. A lot of it has a little recess where you have a data cable could be inserted in. Other than that, I mean, this is like a classic photograph of a blurry UFO. It doesn't really have any obvious repulsor lift technologies on any of it. You have a disc on the bottom that has somehow the way it spins. There's an intake on the bottom, again, some other pips and holes, and a heat shield on the top. It's pretty clean tech.
Hopefully.
Yeah, it's very clean, very tight, very put together, very durable looking.
Good.
Not a lot of stuff there that's exposed to the open environment to get like into its workings and fuck them up. Whoever made it was making it for this terrain specific.
Good. It will be well useful then.
So for as far as that sled, like repulsor sled, for any of the other characters that are mechanically inclined, there's no reason why this thing just shouldn't turn on with power. Like for the most part, it has all of its components. It has no creature comforts. And the Silt Sea just ate away at a lot of stuff, then shined it up. But then you find out from the kids that it didn't really have any creature comforts to begin with. It was very utilitarian. And they use it to hop from place to place pretty quickly. It keeps low to the ground. It doesn't create a lot of dust. Keeps their profile minimized. But it's a bit of a power hog. So they got to let it collect solar energy and not heat up too much. So they got to get it out of the direct sunlight during noon. So they try to go from rock point to rock point.
How hard would it be to recharge with like extra?
Not at all. You guys can have that thing with, especially all the things that you have for recharging. You can have it charged in a few hours.
Yeah.
You can have this thing up and running by morning. Not everyone's going to be able to fit
recharging.
Hmm?
What do we have for recharging?
A couple players.
Both of my characters have some recharging capability.
Oh, okay.
Cinder needs sunlight though for his. He's got solar recharger.
You can really only do regular power cells.
And Rumred has electrical generation, so she can do power cells too.
Ah, handy.
Does Iliad have a recharger?
Oh no, he only whatever his internal power source could technically charge.
Yeah, because his is one of the boom ones.
Mm.
And then we have the solar cow. You can also recharge.
Give that thing a name.
Right?
Ronan does have like
I'm still
6
here.
perfectly charged batteries on him.
You can daisy chain those into a battery pack, just discharge them into it.
Oh, did we get robbed by High Rise for all our Unity patent batteries?
Did High Rise take them?
Yeah,
No.
because we got like a mountain of
No.
those.
Those are your
no,
property.
Yeah, and Ronan kept all his shit.
No, they weren't throwing out Unity stuff. They were trying to identify it
Like what was in core systems specifically.
so that they could replace it. But you're not going to rip out something that works.
Like battery packs, there's not really anything that Unity could have done to the battery to make it
Yeah.
a threat. But like mechanical struts, things that actually run off of signals.
Sensors and relays.
Yeah, we got about
All the bits and
24
bobs.
spare batteries.
It'd be bad if some kind of like antibacterial like metering device suddenly decides to turn off in the water supply. It's like, oh, that's not good. Bacteria in the water now.
Just use a clam and a magnet.
Ooh, there you go. Clams and everything. Purify the water.
I was gonna say we could probably daisy chain some of these batteries to charge up that
So-
battery pack.
You would allow me to kind of like wash over some of the next scene, kind of go to morning. Unless anybody has anything specific they want to kind of cover over.
Yeah, we can wash.
I think Iliad's good.
Wash
Just
it.
kind of stay up all night.
So
Okay.
wipe.
Go for it.
Yeah, Cinder will help. Are we pulling all people in, or are we keeping our surveillance post?
That's up to y'all.
Well, I don't care. Cinder doesn't care.
Argo? He's the one with the big gun.
Yep. What do you want to do, Argo?
I mean, Argo's happily to be a scouting thing, but we also would like some sleep.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Cinder's got you covered. If you need sleep, Cinder.
Yeah.
Love it.
I was gonna say Ronan barely needs sleep, so Argo can sleep, and
Yeah.
Ronan will keep an eye on the door while Cinder keeps an eye on the land, as it were.
It makes sense to have your Overwatch sniper not in the position with all the heat.
Yep. Good point.
So very good. Morning comes around without any incident. Again, there's a few other sellers around the area, people moving about. By morning time, you do see some bodies moving towards the common egress and in and out way over by the Siltsea, and there is some caravans that are starting to move up into the territories as well. You do see a group of beetle men who have some goods that they're offloading over to silt striders who are picking those up and lumping them physically into high rise, because vehicles don't usually survive Siltsea, as we've seen. Everything's got to be
There's
actually
chitters at
walked in.
them.
Yeah. They chitter back.
Hell yeah! Hell yeah!
Like, chip, 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 cha! They're pleasant people. If you don't attack them, they got nothing against you. They're just here surviving.
Well, all Iliad really wants to do before the party sets off is check in with Julius in the morning.
So, with Julius, he's just setting his men and dispositioning them, making sure that the wounded are being supported by people that can hold them up. And they've all got their silt striders, and they're they're making sure they're all attached so they can begin the march, actually, to the main route.
So you're all heading back?
He says, I have a stopover point at a watch relay station in F10 on the grid map, and then I've got to report in. Then it's back over to Bittertoe.
Good. You can let them know Sir Iliad is coming.
And see, he looks around at his men, and the ones who are patched up are actually going to be walking wounded now because they've received such good medical attention. I'll inform them. And his men step off at a double trot.
Hey, quick interjection.
Go ahead.
So it's a new day. If significantly more healing, Rumred would offer to do, well, maybe not directly, but would say to Iliad that she can do more healing if he wants her to.
Oh, Sir Cavalier Julius, if you would like, me and my associates here can take another look at your wounded.
He takes only a split second to consider it, and he's like, any additional healing to help them would be.
So, yeah, Iliad will take Red's help, as well as Duke and whoever else, kind of trying to mask who's exactly the healer.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, don't want that known. And so those ones who are participating in healing, then we have
Ronan's gonna actually trot down to the beetles if they're still out there.
good.
Yeah.
So for those ones again who are participating in healing and patching and doing 10 EFs for using those skills and participating in the skill checks. So the beetles out by the Siltsea, they're just lumping. They're just offloading goods from sleds and then giving them to people who are running them into high rise.
Ronan's trying to find their caravan leader and try to figure out which way they are headed.
So there's a big stag that's in charge of the whole area, easily twice the size of the other beetles. He can flip any of them over. And he has his bright lance in many hands, as he turns to speak to you in the human language. It still has a lot of chips and gutturalness to it. You what?
Ronan pantomimes to find out which way their path is going.
Back to Greywater, where they're going to stop over and then head to Colossus.
Ronan looks for any of their sleds devoid of enough material now.
Yeah, they're empty.
Oh, perfect. Ronan will try to indicate that he has wounded who are heading towards Greywater and would like to pay for them to ferry.
He finds this perfectly acceptable and agreeable.
How many shekels will he need for Julius's contingent?
Shekels, Jesus. 40. No. He will require per passenger 5 silver in order to take them, and they'll shelter them through the noon.
Okie dokie.
No water, no food though. They didn't bring any
Ronan
to share.
offers him 10 gold.
That's too much.
No, he's proffering him enough to actually feed them as well.
They don't have any food or water to share. Is what he's telling you. They have what they need for themselves.
Okay. Then he'll just proffer the agreed upon amount.
And And so there's an agreement, the passage of materials, and they open up. They have a couple of the sleds opened up. They put a canvas over the top of it to give some shelter from the ship for people who are traveling with it. And they don't have like beasts of burden. It's the beetles carry. So,
Oh, and one more
thing.
Spits out pumpkin goo and gets it.
Again, this is normal for beetles. They're like, yes, this is an agreeable trade. I shall eat this now in front of everyone.
And he'll trot
Highly
back
nutritious.
and start poking Iliad.
It takes a moment before Iliad looks down like, I don't... Oh, hello, Pumpkin. Sorry, I don't have nerve endings. I can't feel that.
Points over to the beetle caravan with the clear tarp, then points at Julius.
Oh, did you do this?
Shakes Gord.
Very good.
Little up
Cavalier
and down,
Julius.
Bob. Yes, Sir Iliad.
My compatriot here has secured you and your wounded men a faster mode of transportation. It gestures over to the beetles.
And he like looks out of the window down at the group of beetles who are sitting there sitting on the canvas, and he sighs. That's agreeable. I can use it for some of the men who are wounded.
How's your food and water? Will you make it through the day?
He looks over to one of the other like a younger female who's literally putting together packs, and she just holds up one thumb. We have adequate supplies.
Good.
How many of them are there?
27.
7? Who boy?
Oh, jeez. Okay, good.
Yeah, it's a company.
I
Sorry,
was
put the
thinking out loud,
platoon
I was
size
like,
over that,
I don't think Ronan wants to lose 7.
You don't worry about it. They're good. They're good. So do as you are instructed to do, but get the bitter toe quickly.
All right, so they disposition everybody. They get them on the tarp, the wounded. The other ones decide they're going to run. So it's only 30 silver for the 3 that are wounded. And because the rest of them are good to go. And when you're moving with Silt Striders, you're keeping pace with the beetles pretty easily.
Okay, good.
Matter of
So
fact,
they're
you
not
can
moving slow now.
outpace
They're-
them. Yeah.
They're going to be faster than us.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah, I think the only one who can keep up with these youth is Cinder, and Rhea can obviously
I think
outrun
Rhea
them.
can do laps around them.
Yeah. Because again, these are scouts. They're lightly equipped. They can run. So they've got a movement speed of 12 on a
And
Silt
Rhea's
Strider.
got 20.
Yeah.
Can't run like
Fucking
this, suckers.
demon.
Race to that
Have
mountain back.
fun.
Oh, you already lost.
Suck my
Have fun
wind!
staring at my cottontail, bitch.
Yeah, so are you guys gonna march with them, or are you gonna stay behind? Because the beetles also move at about a 12. They're pretty quick.
Oh, so we're all like kind of moving the same speed, more or less?
Well, again, because they're using Silt Striders. Who's the slowest person here?
Me? Argo?
Oh yeah, he can't use a skill strider. But you can ride,
Argo is
on.
ungodly slow now, especially for his armor.
Do you want to pay
solar
10
cow.
silver to get on the ride, the sled?
Argo would gladly do that.
Yeah,
Argo's-
why the hell not? Yeah, let's stick with the Beatles.
Yeah, he's-
Because, Argo currently has about a 4.25 move speed.
Oh, God.
I don't know why, but I always in my head, like whenever all this shit's going down, Argo's just like in a lawn chair with like a mixed drink with a little like umbrella in it, going like, I love it. Just being carried.
mean, that
Huge
would be
ass gun.
accurate.
Yeah. Like, where'd you get ice? Like,
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
yeah.
With
Yeah,
this,
so-
he might have something
yes.
extra on it.
Yeah, it's a little nice little martini mixer in them.
Hmm.
I mean, that was one of the options. If you do random robot, you have the drink mixer that's on it, dispenser.
Oh, yeah.
It's a fun one. So you guys managed to make your translation from the outskirts of the Silt Sea, making it to high noon, which the beetles have a make it to a rock outcropping on F10, which is the relay location for the Night Cavaliers. And so they make their registration known. Now, the vehicle you have, when they see it, it's
Speaking
not the
sandcastle.
one that they lost. The one they lost actually had a pattern symbol on the side of it. he recognizes that model as one they sell in Greywater. That's where they got theirs.
Yeah, sweet.
So it wasn't the one they had. But they do get lost in this area often because there has been an increase of robot raids coming out of this valley. That's part of the reason why they're out scouting this. Kind of
I also imagine many assume that they can brave the silt sea in such a vehicle.
Escape them, and then they can't because the repulsors fail.
Speaking of which, any of those boxes that are locked, Duke will take his shot at picking them.
Yeah, definitely. No need to check at it. You're able to pop these open.
I imagine this is just what he's doing during the noontime.
So you've got 20 kilograms of dry goods, food, basically trail rations and emergency food. You also have this interesting device. It's bags of this weird agar jelly. You have about 4 gallons of it. And who has relic knowledge?
Duke and Pumpkin also have it.
Okay, Duke and Pumpkin. But that's it.
I think so.
So with
Sally does not have it.
the agar jelly is a sweetener in sucralose, but it's also meant to improve electrolytes in the body when you mix that with water and drink it. It's basically an energy drink. Supposed to help you replace a lot of your different things
I'll
you
pass
need.
that to Rum Red, as this is more in her forte.
Yeah,
Sure.
it's a good little mix here. You would have seen things like this before, Rum Red, especially from relic divers when they bring things like that back. Recipes that make this kind of substance, like something suspended in a jelly that could be like added to water in order to make it just replenishing and more refreshing.
How much of it you said?
4 gallons of it in like these
4
kind
gallons.
of thick plastic bags with a spigot. So
Okay.
yeah, and it's like this will be useful, especially for rehydrating somebody if they were sick or ill.
Yep.
But as far
Should
as one
probably
can
study it too to be able to
reproduce
recreate
it.
it at some point.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's what I figured.
They have a serial number on the back of them. It's like a QR code, and it does look. It's not faded. It's fairly new, and you have that telltale on the top of it, 86.
Oh, all right.
Because
Well,
yeah,
we
you know
can-
where it came from,
compare notes if we get there.
and they're making stuff for humans, it seems, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, interesting.
So at the relay station,
Trade is trade.
yeah, trade is trade. At the relay station, this is where the Cavaliers part ways with you guys, and they're going to head towards Bittertoe. Or
Is there anyone else here at the relay station, or is it just
There is a group of young men. It's hidden up in the rocks. It's a little defendable outpost. You can see it's carved from the stone itself. You recognize it as just a layover position from the hydraulic night days. An area where you could like rest from the sun. There's a small hand pull water well that's still in operation. So they can pump, questionably okay water, a little salty from the ground here.
So I'm assuming
Brackish.
this is going to lead to not much more info gain, but yeah, Elliot would have kind of shaken these men down as well.
Yeah, again, bit of the same. You have, from what you could tell, they've been here for a period of several days. They get rotated out. They're all part of the militia. They're the same story. Young men that were picked up from various areas across the high desert in order to kind of like just organized. One of them is a little bit older. He's in his mid-20s, and he seems to be in charge. He remembers you when he was a kid. Like, he had your card, just like Kent did. Like, I had your collectible. I had your card. He's like, I had your card from, and he goes on like, it was from your battle out in the feeding grounds with the great jaw worm.
Oh, Elliot just kind of pauses, not really. That memory foggy at best in his processor, but
He says it was a great artistic rendition of you standing before this 3-jawed worm and just fighting it with like just this large weapon in your hands. He says, I remember the profile piece. I mean, the artwork was kind of amateurish, but it was good. It was a good collectible. And the other ones are like, the other kids, they're like, oh shit, he really is a hydraulic knight. This isn't bullshit. And again, this is like, he's older than everyone else. He's Greybush the Wise, like amongst these children.
I see. Yep.
He's the old man in the group. And he's like, yeah, no, this is Iliad, the Great. This is Knight Iliad. And then he sits there and he thinks about it. Though he does have another name.
Iliad kind of looks down at the child, like, pardon? No.
He chuckles. Well, yeah, I mean, before you took on the name Iliad. And the other ones are all kind of looking like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, it was his first few years that he was in. I remember reading about it. It was Odysseus. And like your mind just goes fucking blank.
Brother. How did I guess that?
So yeah, this I will say, yeah, like that literally happens blank. Like Iliad shuts down.
Oh shit! What did I do?
Oh no, you broke him. Kid's
Hey, good luck for that thing.
Is there a power button on him somewhere?
Hey, shit, quit. The kid's like, this young man, like, well, this adult, this 25-year-old man. He's like, did I do something wrong?
She's like trying to find the button still. How the hell does he turn on?
Argo?
Yeah.
I assume it would be like out of success because it's like the most basic ass shit.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So Argo, do you want to like power him on?
Dude picks up a rock and throws it at his head.
Yeah.
Doink.
Where he comes up in the back with a data plug.
Oh, do we have him still with us? Is he here?
Argo.
I'm here. I just
okay,
keep
yeah.
muting myself because I don't want to distract noises because I keep dropping shit. I have dropped both of my cups.
Hey, you know what? I'm trying to get a better noise gate because every time I move my chair a little bit, it squeaks and it comes in through the audio, and I'm trying to get rid of that.
I just have a horrible mic, but it's a good mic, but it's a horrible mic. I love the headset. The mic itself is horrible.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, your voice is really clear, so
I don't know.
I'm jelly of it. Yeah, we were asking, like, do you want to, like, help Pop Iliad, like, turn him back on? We're like, okay, yeah, I can do it. It's automatic for you if you do it.
Yes.
All right, so you find his, like, circuit control unit. You're like, yeah, it's powered off. I don't know exactly how Argo, like, how Argo does this, goes about it. Like, kind of like talk to me here about, like, what does it kind of look like when Argo is, like, opening up this big ass war robot to, like find the emergency? Like, oh yeah, this breaker flipped. Just turning it back on again.
Yeah, just casually, like, give him like a good small angle. Just pop open the entire back. There's just like a weird seam in it that just normally just does not exist unless you have a very certain area.
Yep.
And then just fiddles with a few things, grumples that it's not perfect.
The
Turns
Finder's
it on.
watching very carefully just in case he ever has to kill Iliad. He wants to know how fast
Get
the
in
time.
there. Yeah. Like, that's
mean,
interesting. It's
He
those
doesn't
moments
care
from
if
Star
someone
Trek.
watches.
You ever seen those
It's just
moments
like,
from Star Trek when they open up data? It's like that. Like, you know
Yeah.
exactly where to
Yup.
press.
And she's back.
Yay.
Yeah, he's back on.
Oh, yep. So after a few rounds. Yes. You big.
I would turn you
Big
back
nerd.
off if you make that noise one more time.
I'm not the one with the soundboard on.
One was significantly louder than the other ones.
Yeah.
That one's loud.
Well, did you hear all the ones she did?
Not
I think
all.
so.
Because she was like messing with it before because it wasn't working on her headset right, so she's trying to figure out why it was not working.
No, this is the only second one I've heard.
Okay,
After like 3.
Yep.
so that's funny. That's funny as hell. With that, yeah, Iliad turns back on after a moment and kind of stands up and like looks side to side, like almost confused. Like, well, I suppose we should head off from High Rise now.
Yeah. So there's like a little bit of going back. Like, people are looking at each other like, did that just fucking happen? And then, yeah, we should probably go back to. No, High Rise. No, we're going over to Greywater. Julius is like, I'm taking my men over to the fortress.
Iliad looks over to Argo, who turned him on. Like, where are we?
I could just simply sighs. I barely even know myself.
Honey, you don't remember?
I'm just here.
Lord Iliad, we were upon a mission to Greywater.
Oh, right. Of course. Yeah. Greywater.
That processor may have taken some mild damage. You lost roughly, and counts out the rough seconds, this much or X amount of time of downtime.
Ilya kind of like nods and then like looks side to side back at the young quote unquote knights and then heads back to the party's like gathering area.
There he goes. He's walking off into the dust again. Someone go grab him.
Nope, this way. God damn it. Stop trying to do dust suicide. No.
So when he's back there, he just kind of like rubs like his quote unquote head.
Percussive man. So yeah, they the kid that not kid again, the adult, the man that said it, it gives you a bit of a strange look, and he just kind of drops it, and no one else seems to. Yeah, they've seen robots malfunction, and there's always that fear of the Lissa virus. That's kind of like just on the edge of awareness, but no one. It's very insulting to say to a robot that's acting normal, like, "Hey, maybe you got a little, screw loose. Maybe there's something going on in there. You got to go to a little update, maybe."
Update, you say?
Yeah. And so no one really brings it up. They're like, "Okay, yeah, that just happens sometimes. Static from all of the sand. You just did a transition across the Silk Sea in the desert, so maybe you just had a static discharge." Where other people just, zap their friends with a little static from their finger, you catastrophically shut down.
Mm-hmm.
And they excuse it away. And the scouts, they step off, they head towards Bitter Toe. The 3 wounded one hang out at the relay station. And the beetles are like, "All right, chop chop, we gotta go to Greywater. We're hauling the rest of the way there."
Yeah, so let's go there.
And that brings you to the outside edges of Greywater, a sprawling town that has earthwork walls mixed with a growing construction of a new era concrete. Guard towers. This is becoming a little city. There is so much space being consumed by brick buildings that are going up. You can see stacks of exhaust vents all over the place as all that plentiful and abundant wind and solar energy is being utilized. You see the twinkle of solar panels that seem to be newly made across many roofs in the area. You see people moving about, throngs of them, as they're coming and going. There is a series of guards out front. One of them is surprisingly a half Garnock, a massive individual wearing a heavy suit of armor of laminar plate. He has a very big cudgel in one hand and he holds it up. "Well, need to respect the goods." And as a couple other pairs of people walk up, you can see 2 rat men in their own, like, one of them is holding an articulating claw in his hand as he's like, they're sniffing over the goods and looking at the beetles are like holding their weapons up and they're just smelling them. No one's opening up any of your things. They're not going through them. They're just sitting here sniffing stuff. And then, like, they're making little chittering, chipping noises to you. Like, "Yeah, this was clear. Yeah, clear. Clear. As they're moving up and down the vehicles and then finally come to the outside edge. And they, like, hold up their little hands. Like, "Clear. Gotta go. Free to pass." And there's no other further toll. You're just allowed into this giant, sprawling, bizarre district with a sign over the top of it that just "Welcome to Greywater, center of the desert." And we'll pick back up on this one next week. So, nice little mouse. Yeah. So thank you guys. For those of you who watch, thank you for joining. You can buy the Mutant Epoch at mutantEpoch.com, drivethrurpg.com. The links are in the description along with a link to the Discord. Please join us over there. We've been getting more and more people, and it's been awesome because they've been chatting all evening actually in the Mutant Epoch Discord. A lot of interesting new stuff going on, and We have a Nuke Tower is coming out in quotations soon. We have the third-party license beta up right now inside the Discord. So if you're interested in making new stuff for the Mutant Epoch, we are going through this process to kind of like have our own what is the Wizards call theirs? The
Open game license?
Yeah, the open game license, OGL. And so we're going through our own iteration of that right now, trying to figure out what we have available so you could be a part of that conversation and gain access to it. And see what we're creating for the future. So again, thank you everyone for playing. Thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see everybody next week.
Good night.
Bye. Have a good time.
Bye, everyone.